thinking you're always right. Have you ever felt that solid, unshakable feeling deep inside you? That certainty whispering, yes, this is it, I'm right, and there's no other way to see it. It's powerful, right? Like you've solved everything. But here's the thing, sometimes that strong belief can close us off. It makes us miss other ideas, other truths. When we're so sure, our minds can shut down, often without us even realizing it. Long ago, a wise man named Socrates in ancient Greece had a famous idea. He said, "The only true wisdom is knowing you know nothing." He meant truly smart people don't think they have every fact. They are always ready to learn. They ask questions. They admit they might be wrong. He saw that believing you're always right can actually make you less wise, not more. Think about old beliefs. For a long time, most people were absolutely sure the Earth was the universe's center. They thought the sun and stars circled us. It felt right. It looked right. But here's what happened. Curious thinkers kept looking, kept asking. They found the real truth, that we orbit the sun. If everyone just stuck to being always right, we would never have learned that huge fact about space. It's hard to let go of being totally sure. But when we do, even a little, we open a window. New ideas come in. We become more curious. We understand more. We become more open to growing. It's about remembering that learning is a journey. Sometimes, being truly right means being open to changing your mind. Being chill, even when you're not. Have you ever felt like you had to act totally calm, even when your insides were doing a wild dance? Like your heart was fast, hands sweaty, but you tried hard to look like nothing bothered you. Here's the thing. That pressure to seem chill when you're bubbling with nerves or stress, that's common. It's like wearing an invisible mask, showing the world a peaceful face, even when inside things feel stormy. For a long time, people believed it was strong to always seem composed, to keep feelings hidden. Ancient Greek thinkers, for example, thought wisdom meant not showing emotions. They believed it was brave to keep a calm front, no matter how tough things got. That's why, in many old stories, heroes often appear completely calm in danger, taught to hide fear and worry. This helps picture it. Think about a duck on a pond. On the surface, it glides smoothly, peacefully. You just see calm. But underneath, its little feet are paddling like crazy, working hard to stay moving and afloat. We do something similar. We show a calm surface, while beneath, our thoughts race, our worries churn. It takes effort, a real performance, to maintain that chill look when you're truly not feeling it. But here's the problem. Carrying that hidden effort, always needing to appear calm, can be really tiring. It makes us wonder though, what if being truly chill isn't about perfectly hiding your struggle? What if it's about accepting when our feet are paddling wildly, and that's okay? Maybe true peace comes not from pretending everything is fine, but from being honest with yourself, and trusted people about what you're feeling. It's a quieter, deeper strength to just be what you are, even if that means not being perfectly chill. Believing you're super popular. Have you ever walked into a room, maybe the cafeteria or a school dance, convinced that everyone there knows you? You feel a little buzz of excitement, imagining heads subtly turning your way because you just arrived. You might picture your name being whispered, a sense of importance quietly surrounding you. It's a pretty powerful feeling, isn't it? This idea that you are super popular, perhaps even the main character in the story of your school, is something many of us secretly carry around. But here's the thing, and it's a quiet realization. Sometimes this strong belief lives more inside our own minds than it does in the actual world around us. We naturally want to be seen, to be liked, to really matter to others. It's a deep, very human need. Think back to history, even to how people lived thousands of years ago in small communities. Being known, being a valued part of the group, was important for survival and for feeling a sense of belonging. This ancient desire for connection, for a recognized place, is built right into us. It shapes how we see ourselves, sometimes gently nudging us to feel more central to other people's lives than we truly are. This isn't about being fake. It's just a natural way our minds try to make sense of our place. Psychologists have a name for something similar, the spotlight effect. It's when you feel like a huge, bright spotlight is shining only on you, and everyone is watching your every move. Imagine you trip a little on the stairs, or you have a weird hair day. You might think everyone will notice and remember it forever. But here's what I found. Most people are actually caught up in their own thoughts, their own worries, or just thinking about what's for dinner. They might not even register what just happened to you. Your own sense of popularity, like that imagined spotlight, often feels much bigger to you than it does to others. It's a quiet, gentle thought, really, not sad, just honest. This understanding reminds us that our own value doesn't come from how many people are thinking about us at any given moment. True connection, the kind that lights us up and makes us feel safe, comes from the few people who genuinely see us, truly know us, and deeply care. It's about the rich depth of those special bonds, not just the sheer number of faces in a crowd. And that's a beautiful, honest truth to hold on to, a quiet strength to carry with you. When you say you're a leader, but have you ever told yourself, or maybe even others, I'm a leader? It's a powerful statement, right? We often connect leadership with being strong, smart, or in charge. But here's the thing, sometimes we say we're leaders because we like the idea of it more than we like the work of it. It's easy to say you're leading, but much harder to actually do it. True leadership isn't just about being the boss or telling people what to do. It's not about having the loudest voice or always being first. Often, it's about a deep sense of responsibility. It's about listening when no one else is, lifting others up, and sometimes even being okay with someone else getting the credit for a team effort. Long ago, wise people saw leaders as guides, not just bosses. They understood that a real leader wasn't someone who pushed everyone forward from behind, or just shouted orders from the front. Instead, a true leader walked with their group, understood their struggles, and helped clear the path for everyone. It was about serving the group, not ruling it. Think about a school group project. One person might immediately say, I'll be the leader. They might take control of the conversation, assign tasks, and make big plans. But then, when things get tough, they don't do their own part, or they ignore ideas from others, or they blame people when something goes wrong. And that's the but. Their words say leader, but their actions say something else entirely. A real leader in that group would be the one who organizes, listens to everyone's ideas, helps solve problems, and even steps in to help a struggling teammate. So, when you say you're a leader, take a quiet moment to ask yourself, are my actions truly guiding and helping others, or am I just enjoying the sound of my own voice? Real leadership grows from genuine care and a willingness to serve, not just a desire for control. It's a quiet promise you make to yourself and to those around you to truly make a difference. And that's why it matters. Saying you don't care but you do. Have you ever said, whatever, I don't care, when deep down a knot was twisting in your stomach? Or mumbled, it's fine, when truly nothing felt fine at all? This is one of those common traits we pretend to own, the ability to be unaffected, cool, and detached. But here's the thing. Often, our hearts are telling a very different story. It's like we build a wall around ourselves with those words. We say we don't care because caring can hurt. If something matters a lot and it doesn't work out, or someone disappoints us, that pain can feel huge. So, to protect that raw, tender part of us, we put on a brave face. We act like it's no big deal. It's a very old human habit, this urge to seem strong. Think about how ancient warriors, or even people in tough times long ago, would try to hide their fears. They felt it was safer, perhaps, to look like nothing bothered them, even when the world around them was chaotic. Imagine you spent hours practicing for a school play tryout. You really wanted the main part. When the cast list goes up, your name isn't next to the role you dreamed of. Your chest tightens, maybe your eyes sting a little. But when your friend asks, hey, did you get it? You might shrug and say, nah, it's cool, didn't really want it anyway. You say it because admitting how much it hurts feels too vulnerable. It feels like letting someone see a part of you that's a little broken. But here's the quiet truth. Caring is not a weakness. It's actually a deep kind of strength. It means you're alive. You're connected to the world and the people in it. The things that make us feel something, even if that feeling is disappointment or sadness, are the same things that make us feel joy and connection. Acknowledging that we care, even when it's hard, is a step towards understanding ourselves. It lets us sit with our true feelings, instead of pushing them away, where they often just echo louder in the quiet. Thinking you're a great listener, do you ever nod along when someone is talking, but inside your head, you're already planning what you'll say next? Or maybe you're thinking about dinner, or that big project due tomorrow. We all do it. We might genuinely believe we're really paying attention, that we're truly hearing what others say. But sometimes, What we think is listening is actually just waiting for our turn to speak. Here's the thing. True listening isn't just about hearing sounds. It's about making real space for another person's thoughts and feelings. It's like standing quietly beside them in their story, instead of just quickly scanning the chapter titles. For a very long time, wise thinkers have called this an important human skill. The ancient Greeks, for example, talked about phronesis, which partly meant a kind of practical wisdom that comes from truly understanding others. They knew that, to understand the world, you had to deeply listen to the people in it. It's a quiet power, this skill. Imagine your best friend comes to you, really upset about something that happened at school. They start telling you all about it. If you're busy thinking, "Oh, I had a similar thing happen," or "I know exactly how to fix this for them," you're not fully present. You're hearing their words, but you might miss the quiet tremble in their voice, or the way their eyes look down. You miss the feeling behind their words. True listening means putting your own thoughts on pause, even just for a moment, and letting their experience truly fill the space between you. It means feeling with them, not just hearing them. When we truly listen, without judgment, without planning our response, we offer a rare and precious gift. We give someone the feeling of being seen, of being understood in a world that often rushes by. It's a silent act of kindness, this deep attention, and in that quiet space, real connection can grow, making both you and the person speaking feel a little less alone. It's a powerful, gentle thing, just to truly hear. Pretending to be brave all the time. Have you ever felt super scared inside, but on the outside, you put on your bravest face? We all do it. We might be shaking on the inside, and not in our stomach, but we stand tall. We want to seem strong. We want to show others we've got everything under control, even when we absolutely don't. It's like we believe we always have to be fearless. But here's the thing. Trying to look brave all the time can be incredibly tiring. Think about old stories, like brave knights. Even they felt fear. They didn't just wake up fearless. They felt the same cold dread, but they acted anyway. True courage wasn't about not feeling scared. It was about facing that fear. For a long time, people thought courage meant no fear at all. But that's not really how it works. Imagine a calm, still lake on a sunny day. The surface looks perfectly peaceful, but underneath, deep down, there might be strong, hidden currents, moving fast. That still surface is like the brave face we show the world. Those hidden currents, that's our real feelings, the worry, the fear we're trying so hard to hide. Maybe you're giving a presentation. You walk to the front, your voice steady, but inside, your heart is pounding, and your hands are sweaty. You're showing this still lake, even as those currents rage beneath. It's okay for the currents to be there. Real strength isn't about never feeling afraid. It's about knowing those feelings are part of being human. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is just admit you're scared, even if it's just to yourself. It means you're not pretending anymore, and that's a different kind of brave. The "I'm so busy" trap. Have you ever noticed how often people say, "I'm so busy"? It's like a badge we wear, isn't it? As if being busy means we're important, valuable, or doing something really cool. But here's the thing. Sometimes we think we have this trait of always being super busy, when really, it's just a way we avoid other stuff. We fill our days to the brim, not always with what truly matters, but with anything that makes us feel productive. It's almost like a habit we can't break. A long time ago, thinkers in ancient Greece talked about something called leisure. But for them, leisure wasn't about just doing nothing. It was time for deep thought, for learning, for just being ourselves. They saw it as super important for growing, for understanding the world and who you are. Today, it feels like we've flipped that. We often run from quiet moments, from slowing down, because busy sounds better than doing nothing. It's like we've learned to think being busy means we're worth more. Think about your phone for a second. Sometimes, you have so many apps open in the background, all running at once. Your phone seems busy, maybe even important, with all that activity, but what's really happening? It's probably slowing down, draining its battery faster, and not truly focusing on any one thing well. Our lives can be like that. We keep all these apps running: school, sports, friends, social media, hobbies, and tell ourselves we're super productive. But are we really? Or are we just spreading ourselves thin, missing out on real connections, or simply giving ourselves space to just be? It's a strange trap, this feeling of needing to be busy. We tell ourselves we are, but maybe we're just scared of what might happen if we slow down. Maybe we're scared of missing out. Or maybe we just don't know what to do with quiet time. So, next time you feel like saying I'm so busy, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, is it really true, or is it just a habit? What if the most valuable moments are found not in the rush, but in the gentle calm? Maybe truly growing means learning to embrace not being busy and finding deeper meaning in the stillness. Always saying, I'm fine. Have you ever noticed how often those two words, I'm fine, just slip out? Someone asks how you are, and even if your day feels like a tangled mess, or your heart aches, I'm fine is the automatic answer. It's like a reflex, a shield we put up without thinking. Here's the thing, sometimes, saying I'm fine is one of those traits we think we own, like being strong, when it might be something else entirely. For a long time, people were taught it's good to be strong, to not show worries. Think about old stories, where people had to keep a stiff upper lip. It meant not complaining, not letting true feelings show, even when things were hard. The idea was that showing weakness might burden others. It's a performance we learn early, a way to move through the world without feeling too vulnerable. We want to be seen as okay, capable, not needing help. Imagine an old house, perfectly painted on the outside. From the street, it looks solid and strong, totally fine, but inside, maybe there's a small leak, or a window that won't quite close. The house looks fine, but it's not truly fine. It's keeping a secret. That's a bit like what happens when we always say, I'm fine. We're showing a polished exterior, while inside, there might be little cracks, small worries, or even big sadnesses we're hiding. It's easy to believe that always appearing fine makes us strong, but true strength isn't always about hiding. It's about finding courage to gently, just a little, let someone in. It's about understanding our real feelings are part of us, not something to push away. Maybe the trait we think we own, I'm fine, is actually a quiet whisper, hoping someone will listen closer to the silence behind those words. It's a chance to consider what it means to be truly okay, not just appear that way. The idea you never get scared. Have you ever thought about an idea, something you just know about yourself, and felt totally fearless about it? Like I'm never scared of being myself, or I'm always brave, no matter what. But what if a tiny, quiet fear hides right inside that strong idea? Here's the thing, sometimes, the idea we think we own, the one we feel so safe with, actually holds a hidden tremble. It's not about monsters. It's about being scared of what might happen if that idea isn't completely true. Long ago, the philosopher Socrates said wisdom comes from knowing what you don't know. He meant smart people admit they don't know everything. This connects to a secret fear. We tell ourselves, I always know what's right. But what if, deep down, we're scared of finding out we don't? Of that idea being challenged? Think about believing, I'm always good at solving problems quickly. You feel confident, not scared of a tough math question. But what if a problem stumps you? That little jolt of worry isn't just about the math. It's about your idea of always good feeling wobbly. It's the fear that this idea might not always be true. In our lives, we have unshakable ideas about ourselves. I'm always calm. I'm never afraid to speak my mind. We truly believe we're not scared of anything challenging them. But when life throws a curveball, and we do feel nervous or hesitate, a small fear arises. It's not of the situation. It's the fear that our cherished idea might not be true. And that's okay. Recognizing this isn't weakness. It's about being truly honest. It means we're human, full of complex feelings. The idea that we should never be scared is big, but real strength comes from understanding that sometimes, what we think we're never scared of is exactly where our deepest fears quietly live. We're always growing, learning about our own courage. Thinking you're super unique with you sometimes feel like no one truly gets what's going on inside your head. Like your thoughts, your biggest dreams, your secret fears, they're just yours, truly unique to you. And it's true. In many ways, you are unique. No one has your exact fingerprints or your exact laugh. But here's the thing, that deep feeling of being totally one, the one that tells you your struggles are yours alone, or your secret hopes are too strange for anyone else. That's actually a feeling almost everyone shares. For centuries, people have thought about this. Even ancient thinkers wondered if humans were separate islands or part of a bigger ocean. They looked at the world and saw patterns. They saw that even though each leaf on a tree is a little different, they all share a leafness. This push and pull between feeling special and realizing we're all connected is just part of being human. Think about a moment when you felt really excited, like right before a big school event. or that feeling of relief after a tough test. You might think, only I feel this exact way. But if you look around, you'd likely see other faces showing similar excitement or relief. We all experience these big emotions, these small daily dramas, in ways that feel intensely personal. But the emotions themselves, the underlying human experiences, are often shared, like different instruments playing the same melody. So, while your inner world is precious and yours alone, it's also connected to the larger story of human life. It's good to feel special, because you are, but it's also comforting and sometimes beautiful to know that many of the things we think make us entirely different are actually the quiet threads that tie us all together. You are not alone in feeling alone, and that's a kind of specialness all its own. Believing you're totally independent. Have you ever felt like you could just do everything yourself? Like you don't need anyone for anything? It's a powerful feeling, right? Like you're grown up, strong, and completely on your own. But here's the thing, that feeling, while strong, might not tell the whole story. True independence isn't about being an island. It's more about knowing yourself, while still connected. Think about it. Even way back, people needed each other to survive. One person hunted, another gathered. No one could do it all alone. This isn't a new idea. Humans are social creatures. Thinkers have talked about this for thousands of years. We naturally live in groups. Our brains even grew that way, built for understanding and interacting with others. It's like a single cell in your body. That cell does its job, but it relies on blood for nutrients, and on other cells to form tissues and organs. Without the whole body, that single cell wouldn't last. Or think about a musician. They play an amazing solo, but they learn from teachers, use instruments made by others, and perform for an audience. Their skill is built on countless connections. So, believing we're totally independent might make us miss the beauty of how linked everything truly is. We could overlook the friends, family, teachers, and the world shaping us daily. It's okay to need others. In fact, it's part of being human. True strength often comes from recognizing those connections and valuing them. We are all part of something bigger, influencing and being influenced. It's not a weakness. It's simply how the world works, and it's pretty wonderful. The I never judge anyone claim. Have you ever said, or heard someone say, "Oh, I never judge anyone"? It feels good to say, right? Like you're a really open and kind person. But here's the thing, is that truly possible for any of us? Our brains are incredible sorting machines. From the moment we wake up, they're taking in information and making quick decisions. This isn't always about being mean or unkind. It's often just how our minds work to understand the world around us. When we judge, it can be as simple as seeing someone wearing a certain shirt and thinking, "Oh, that's not my style," or "They must like that band." It's not necessarily a harsh verdict. It's often a fast assessment, a quick labeling of things and people to make sense of a busy world. People have thought about this for thousands of years. Ancient thinkers knew it was hard for humans not to make these quick calls. They understood that our brains want to put things into categories. It's a survival skill, even, to quickly figure out if something is safe or not. This helps us understand our world faster, to organize all the new information coming at us every second. Think about when you first meet someone new. Your brain almost instantly notices things, their voice, their clothes, how they stand. You're not trying to be mean, but your mind is just gathering clues. It's building a quick picture of them in your head, like a computer quickly scanning a file. Our brains are always scanning people and situations. It's a natural, almost automatic process. It's like how you might see a cloudy sky and instantly think, "It's going to rain," or "I need my jacket." You're making a quick judgment based on what you see. So, maybe the real truth isn't that we never judge. Maybe it's about what we do after that first quick thought. Do we let that first impression stop us from really getting to know someone? Or do we pause, take a deep breath, and remember that there's always more to a person than our brain's first quick scan? It's about being aware of those fast thoughts, and then choosing kindness and curiosity instead of sticking to that first snap judgment. That's where the real power lies. Not in pretending we don't judge, but in choosing to look beyond it. When you think you're always happy, have you ever met someone who always seems happy, always smiling, always saying everything is great? Sometimes we tell ourselves, "I'm always happy," because it feels good. But is it truly possible to be happy all the time? And is it truly healthy for you? Think about your emotions like colors in a painting. You have bright yellows and oranges, that's happiness and joy. But a real painting also needs blues, grays, and darker shades. Sadness, anger, frustration, these aren't bad. They make up the full human picture. If you only painted with yellow, it wouldn't be very interesting or honest. Right. Even long ago, thinkers in ancient Greece wondered about true well-being. They saw it as a deeper goodness, not just feeling good every second. They knew life has ups and downs. Real strength, they thought, came from facing all of it, not just pretending the hard parts don't exist. When someone says they're always happy, it might be like wearing an invisible mask. They could be trying hard to push away sadness or worry, but those feelings don't disappear. They just get trapped. It's like holding a big beach ball underwater. That takes much energy, and it eventually pops up. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel frustrated or confused. These feelings are like messengers, telling you something important about your world. Letting yourself feel all your emotions, even the tough ones, is how you truly grow. It's how you learn what matters and grow strong inside. This openness often leads to richer, more genuine happiness. It's not just an act, but a deep, true feeling. Saying you're a good planner. Do you ever tell yourself you're a great planner? Maybe you picture yourself with a perfectly organized notebook, every step mapped out, every task neatly checked off. It feels good to think of yourself that way, doesn't it? Like you've got everything under control, ready for whatever comes next. But here's the thing. Truly being a good planner means more than just making a list or having good intentions. It's about what you actually do when the unexpected happens. It's easy to write down a perfect schedule for your week. You plan to finish that big history project, study for the math test, and even get your chores done early. You see it all clearly in your head. But what happens when a friend calls with an emergency, or you get sick, or a sudden assignment pops up? Does your whole plan fall apart, leaving you feeling stressed and behind? Many wise thinkers throughout history, from ancient Greece to now, have talked about the difference between knowing what to do and doing it. It's like the philosopher who said true wisdom isn't just about smart ideas, but about making those ideas real in your life. A real planner doesn't just sketch out a perfect future. They imagine what could go wrong and have a backup plan. They understand that life rarely follows a straight line. Think about a captain navigating a ship. They don't just set a course for the sunny.com waters. They also prepare for storms, for changing winds, for unexpected icebergs. They have safety protocols and different routes. They know the goal, but they also know how to react and adjust when the world pushes back. So, when you say you're a good planner, ask yourself, am I just dreaming up a perfect scenario? Or am I truly ready to guide myself through the twists and turns of reality? It's okay if you're not always perfect. No one is. But understanding that real planning means being flexible and honest with yourself, that's a deeper kind of wisdom. It's about showing up for your future, not just wishing for it. The myth of being super organized. Have you ever looked around and felt a heavy weight, like you should be one of those people? The ones with the perfectly tidy desk, every assignment filed, every plan made ahead. It feels like there's a secret club of super organized people. And if we could join, life would be easy and perfect. But here's the thing. That idea of super organized is often just a myth. It's an image we hold, a picture of flawless order that doesn't really fit how life works. For a long time, people thought perfect order would bring perfect peace. Ancient thinkers dreamed of a world where everything had its exact place, believing it would banish chaos. That sounds nice, right? No surprises, no lost keys. Our lives, our minds, they aren't machines. Think about your backpack. You might start the year with everything neatly arranged, folders crisp, but as weeks go by, papers get crumpled, a forgotten snack might appear. Suddenly, it's not perfect. That's normal. Your brain works like that too. New ideas pile up, old ones shift around. It's not about keeping everything in a rigid, perfect spot. It's more about finding a way that works for you to get things done, even if it looks messy to others. So what if we let go of the pressure to be impossibly neat? What if we understood that being functionally able to find what we need is better than chasing a spotless ideal that causes stress? Maybe real peace comes not from having everything perfectly in place, but from accepting that some glorious, living mess is just part of being human. It's about finding your kind of order, one that lets you breathe and live, instead of trying to fit into a picture that isn't truly yours. Thinking you're really good at sports. Do you ever play a game, like basketball or soccer, and just know you're crushing it? You dribble, take a shot, and in your head, it's a perfect swish. but then maybe the ball goes way off. A strange feeling, isn't it? That quiet gap between what we imagine and what actually happens. Here's the thing, our brains protect our feelings. When we want to be good at something, our minds give us a boost. We focus on good moments, blurring out mistakes. It's not trickery. It's how we're wired to stay confident, especially when trying new things. This helps us keep going and not give up to easily. Ancient thinkers, like Socrates, spoke of know thyself. He meant truly understanding your strengths and weaknesses. It's harder than it sounds to see ourselves clearly. We often view our skills through a hopeful filter, especially in sports we love and care deeply about. Don't imagine learning a new song on guitar. In your head, it's perfect, but your fingers stumble, making squeaky noises. You feel like a rock star, full of passion, but the sound isn't quite there yet. That feeling is real, the excitement, the belief, but the skill needs time to catch up, and that's perfectly okay. This teaches us something valuable. It's not about being hard on ourselves. Instead, it's about gentle curiosity. Quietly notice the gap between hopeful thoughts and reality. With kindness, understanding this helps us truly improve. We learn to watch ourselves play, not with judgment, but with a desire to grow. Loving the game means accepting ourselves as we are, right now. That's where real strength and lasting improvement begin. Believing you're a natural artist. Do you ever look at a painting or hear a song and just feel amazed? Like the person who made it was simply born with some special power. Maybe you've tried to draw or play music, and it felt clumsy, not smooth like you hoped. And then, it's easy to think, I'm just not an artist. This idea that some people are natural artists, like magic flowed into them at birth, is a really common feeling. Here's the thing. For a long time, people actually believed this. Ancient Greeks, for instance, talked about muses, goddesses, who supposedly whispered great ideas into the minds of poets and painters. It was like artistic skill was a special gift from the gods, not something you worked at. And it's still easy to feel that way today, right? To see someone's amazing drawing and imagine they just have that talent, effortlessly. But the truth is a little different, and maybe even more comforting. Think about learning to ride a bike. No one just gets on and pedals perfectly the very first time. You wobble, you fall, maybe you skin a knee, but you keep trying. Each attempt builds a bit of balance, a little confidence. That's exactly how art works too. It's like building any muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every brushstroke, every practice note, every word you write, it all adds up. So, if you've ever told yourself you're not an artist because you weren't born with it, maybe it's time to gently rethink that. The real talent isn't about being perfect from day one. It's about the willingness to be messy. It's the quiet bravery to try, to learn, and to slowly, steadily build something new. The true art isn't just in the finished piece, but in the deeply personal journey of making it. And that journey is truly open to everyone who dares to simply begin. The I'm so smart feeling. Have you ever felt like you just know something completely? Like you've got all the answers, right there in your head? It's a powerful feeling, like a light bulb just clicked on. But here's the thing, sometimes, that I'm so smart feeling can actually trick us. It's like our brain is playing a little game, making us feel like experts when we've only just started to understand something. This isn't a new idea. Way back in ancient Greece, a very wise thinker named Socrates talked about it. He famously said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." What he meant was that really smart people aren't the ones who pretend to have every answer. Instead, they understand how much they don't know. They know there's always more to learn, always more to explore. And that idea, that humility, is actually a sign of deep intelligence. Think about learning a new skill, like playing a musical instrument or coding. Maybe you learn a few chords on the guitar, or write a simple program, and suddenly you feel like a rock star or a tech wizard. You might think, I've got this. But then you try a harder song or a more complex code, and you realize how much more there is to master. There are hidden techniques, tricky rhythms, or different coding languages you never even knew existed. It's like thinking you've mastered the whole ocean after just dipping your toes in a puddle. So that I'm so smart feeling isn't wrong to have. It's a good sign of confidence sometimes, and it feels good to achieve things. But a deeper kind of smartness comes from staying curious and being okay with not knowing everything. It's about keeping your mind open, always ready to learn something new, even if it challenges what you thought was true. This way, you grow, not just in knowledge, but in understanding and kindness too. And that's a beautiful, truly intelligent way to walk through the world. When you say you're a great storyteller, do you ever tell a story and, deep down, you just know you nailed it? Maybe you made everyone laugh, or gasp, or even tear up a little. That feeling, that buzz you get, it's really powerful. But here's the thing about being a great storyteller: sometimes the trait we think we own isn't quite the same as how others experience it. A long, long time ago, before books or even writing, people sat around fires. They shared stories. These weren't just for entertainment. They were how history was passed down. They were how kids learned what was safe and what wasn't. They were how a group knew who they were and what mattered to them. The person telling the story wasn't trying to win an award. They were trying to connect, to teach, to keep their people safe and strong. Their stories weren't about showing off. They were about sharing a piece of the world, or a piece of themselves, so others could understand. Think about two friends telling you about their summer vacation. One friend talks really fast, using big gestures, making it sound super exciting. You nod along. The other friend speaks more softly, but they describe the feeling of the sun on their face, or the smell of the ocean, or the tiny moment they felt really brave. And somehow, you feel like you were right there with them. The first friend might think they're the better storyteller because they're more dramatic. But the second friend, they actually made you feel something. They made you connect. Being a truly great storyteller isn't just about the words you say, or how loudly you say them. It's about how much of yourself you put in, and how much you let the listener in. It's about building a bridge, not putting on a show. So, the next time you share a story, maybe pause and ask yourself, am I just talking, or am I truly connecting? Am I making them feel something real, something that lasts? That silent connection, that's where the real magic lives. Pretending to be funny all the time, have you ever felt like you had to be the funny one? Like every single time you open your mouth, a joke just has to come out. It's this heavy feeling, isn't it? This secret weight that makes you believe if you're not making everyone laugh, you're somehow less interesting, less valuable. So, you try. You push out quips and silly comments, even when you don't really feel like it inside. You hope it hides the quiet parts of you, the parts that might feel a little lost or unsure. This constant performance, it's exhausting, and it quietly takes a toll on your spirit. For a long, long time, people have loved humor. Think about old plays or stories. The jester, the clown, they were there to lighten things up. But here's the thing. Their job was to bring joy, but only sometimes, in specific moments. They wore a costume, a mask. For us, that costume can be our own personality, worn so tightly it's hard to breathe. We see others laughing, and we think that's the only way to be seen, to be liked. This belief can make us forget our real self. It's a bit like when you're playing a video game and you keep spamming the same attack button over and over. At first, it might work, or get a chuckle, but after a while, it just loses its power. The enemy doesn't react, and you, the player, get tired. The joy drains away, and it becomes a chore. People see you trying so hard, and instead of being genuinely entertained, they might just feel uncomfortable. Or worse, they might not see you at all, just the performance. And what does that leave behind? A quiet emptiness, a feeling that your true self isn't good enough. Because being genuinely funny comes from a real place, from a relaxed heart and an open mind. It flows when you're comfortable, when you're being you, not when you're forcing something out. We think we own the trait of being the funny person, but what we're actually owning is the act of pretending. Maybe the real courage, the real strength, is allowing yourself to be quiet sometimes, to just be, to let your true self, with all its different moods and moments, be enough. Because that's where true connection happens, not behind a forced smile or a tired joke. It's in the quiet, honest moments that people truly see and appreciate you. Thinking you're always patient. Have you ever thought about how patient you really are? It's easy to say, oh, I'm a patient person. We tell ourselves this, especially when things are going smoothly. We might genuinely believe it. But here's the thing. True patience isn't about how you act when everything is easy. It's about how you respond when life throws a when the Wi-Fi suddenly slows down, or a friend takes forever to text you back, or your favorite show buffers right at the best part. That's when we see our true colors. For a long time, thinkers have talked about ancient philosophers, like the wise Greeks, often reminded people to know thyself. This wasn't just about knowing your favorite color or your strengths. It meant understanding your deepest habits, your real reactions, and the parts of you that might be hidden, even from yourself. They understood that we often see an ideal version of ourselves, not the messy, real version. It's like looking in a funhouse mirror sometimes, seeing a slightly warped, maybe better, image. Think about it like this. You might say you're patient about growing a plant. You plant the seed, you water it, but if it doesn't sprout in a day, do you start digging it up to check? Or do you trust the process, knowing some things take time? It's the same with people. We might think we're patient, but then a project at school takes longer than expected. Or someone needs more time to explain something, and we feel that little tug of frustration, that urge to rush ahead. We want things to happen on our timeline, not life's, and that's okay. It's a human thing to want quick answers, quick results. But understanding this feeling, truly noticing when impatience bubbles up, that's the first step. It's not about being perfect and never getting frustrated. It's about being honest with ourselves. It's about learning to sit with the waiting, to breathe through the slow moments. Because often, the most important things, the most beautiful changes, they don't happen overnight. They grow slowly, like that seed, with steady, quiet patience. And discovering that truth about yourself, that's a kind of deep peace, a real step towards knowing who you truly are. The I'm never annoyed belief. Have you ever told yourself, or maybe even your friends, that nothing really bothers you, that you're just chill all the time? It's a common feeling, this idea that showing annoyance makes you weak or less cool. We tell ourselves, I'm fine, it doesn't bother me, even when inside, a little spark of irritation is definitely flickering. Here's the thing, believing you are never annoyed is a trait many of us think we own, but it's often not true. It's like trying to convince yourself that clouds don't exist, even when you can see them clearly. Our feelings, even the prickly ones like annoyance, are a natural part of being human. Long ago, thinkers like the ancient Stoics understood emotions would always pop up. They didn't say, don't ever feel annoyed. Instead, they suggested we control how we react to those feelings. They knew the feeling itself was often beyond our immediate control. Your brain is wired to notice when things aren't quite right, like a tiny internal alarm system. Think about it this way. Imagine you're playing a video game, and the internet connection keeps lagging. You might tell yourself, it's okay, I'm not annoyed, but deep down, that little flicker of frustration is there. It's your brain saying, hey, this isn't working. Ignoring it is like pressing mute on an alarm. The alarm is still going off. You just can't hear it. But here's what's truly powerful. Understanding that feeling annoyed isn't a flaw. It's information. It tells you something about what you care about, or what you wish was different. Being honest with yourself about those small annoyances, recognizing them, can be a quiet strength. It lets you truly know your own heart, not just the part you want to show the world. Saying you're totally mature. Have you ever told yourself, or a friend, I'm totally mature now? It's a common feeling. We might feel a sudden understanding, a sense of being grown up, like we have everything figured out. That's natural. But here's the thing, saying you're mature and truly being mature are often very different. It's easy to put on a brave face, to pretend you're not bothered, or to insist you know all the answers. You might even act calm when you feel wobbly inside. But real maturity isn't about the act. It's about what's happening inside, in your quiet thoughts, and in your honest reactions when no one is watching. Long ago, ancient Greek thinkers talked about wisdom and virtue. For them, a truly wise person didn't say they knew everything. They understood how much they didn't know. They valued controlling feelings, choosing responses instead of just reacting. They thought deeply about consequences, for themselves and others. Consider a young sapling. It might be green and tall after rain, but it's not truly mature. A mature tree has deep, strong roots. It has faced many seasons, bent in strong winds, and grown around obstacles. It doesn't just declare itself mature. Its strength shows in its growth, its ability to stand firm through storms, and that's why it matters. Real maturity might not be a finish line you cross and announce. Perhaps it's more a journey, a quiet understanding that we are always learning. It means being kind, patient, and open to changing your mind. It's okay not to have all the answers. True maturity means always being willing to grow, to be real with yourself, and to learn from every mistake. Believing you're the best friend ever. Have you ever looked at your friendships and felt sure you're the perfect support, the ultimate confidant? You think you're always there, always understanding, always saying just the right thing. It's a comforting thought, but here's the thing. Sometimes, what we believe about ourselves doesn't quite match how others actually experience us. We can think we're the best, when maybe our friends see things differently. This isn't a new idea. Wise people, thousands of years ago in ancient Greece, would tell everyone to know thyself. They meant, really try to understand who you are, not just who you wish you were. It's tough because our minds are good at protecting us. Our brain has a friendly filter, making us look a little better to ourselves. Here's an example. Imagine you and a friend are working on a school project. You're giving all these ideas, suggesting how to organize everything. You feel super helpful and in charge. From your side, you're being a leader. But maybe your friend feels they don't get a chance to share their own thoughts. They might feel unheard. You're both in the same situation, but you each have a totally different picture of what's happening. It's about different perspectives, and that's why it matters. This isn't about being a bad person or a bad friend. It's just human to sometimes miss what's really going on outside our own heads. What we believe about ourselves can feel so real, but true friendship asks us to be open. It asks us to pause and wonder, how does my friend see this? How do they feel? Good friendship isn't about being perfect. It's about being real, making mistakes, and being brave enough to look at ourselves honestly. It's about trying to understand. That's where real connection grows. The idea you're always fair. Have you ever stopped to think about how you decide what's fair? We often believe we're good at it, don't we? We tell ourselves, I'm a fair person, and deep down, we truly feel it. But here's the thing, our own idea of fair is almost always seen through our own eyes. We think we are fair because we mean to be. It's not a new idea. For a very long time, thinkers have noticed how humans tend to see the world from their own corner. It's like we each have a special filter. What seems completely right to us might look totally different to someone else. We're not trying to be unfair. It's just how our minds are wired. Our experiences, our feelings, and what we want all shape our personal view of right. Think about splitting chores with a sibling. You might genuinely believe you do more, or that your chores are harder. I always take out the trash. You might think, but your sibling feels the exact same way about their tasks. They see their efforts clearly, just as you see yours. Because you both feel you're doing a lot, it seems unfair when the other person complains. It's not a fight about who is bad, but about two different viewpoints, each truly believing they are fair. So, being truly fair isn't just about feeling fair all the time. Instead, it's about trying to peek through someone else's filter, even for a moment. It's about remembering that what feels right to us might not feel right to them. This can help us connect more deeply. It helps us see past just our own story and toward a bigger, more shared truth. When you think you never gossip, think about this for a moment. Do you ever really, truly believe you never gossip? We often tell ourselves we don't, that we're above it, that we keep things to ourselves. But here's the thing. Gossip isn't always sharp words or spreading rumors. Sometimes, it's just talking about someone else, sharing news or observations when they aren't in the room. It's softer, quieter, and maybe that's why we don't always notice it happening. For ages, humans have shared stories about each other. Long, long ago, when people lived in small groups, how did they know what was happening? They talked. They shared details about who was strong, who was kind, who was struggling. This helped them understand their community, to know who to trust, who to avoid. It was a natural way for information to travel, a kind of social wiring that helped groups stick together. It's deeply woven into how we connect. Imagine you're walking down the hall, and someone mentions, "Did you see Maria's new shoes? They're super cool." Or a friend quietly says, "Mr. Davis always tells the best jokes, doesn't he?" Both are simply talking about others when they're not present. It's like when you watch a nature documentary and see a group of animals communicating. They're sharing information about their world, including each other. Our brains are designed to understand these social puzzles, to piece together the bigger picture of who we are and who others are. So, maybe the trait isn't never gossiping. Maybe the real truth is that we all, in small ways, share pieces of life's unfolding story about others. The quiet challenge, then, is to become aware, to notice when we're doing it, to ask ourselves, gently, am I sharing something kind, something helpful, or something that might make someone feel small? It's a quiet pause, a moment to reflect on the ripples our words create, even the softest ones. It's about understanding the deeper human need to connect, and making sure our connections lift others up, not pull them down. Saying you're always honest. Have you ever heard someone say, or even said yourself, "I'm always honest"? It sounds so strong, so sure. But here's the thing. Can anyone truly be honest every single moment of every single day? It's a question worth sitting with. To be always honest means never, not once, bending the truth. No little white lies to avoid hurting someone's feelings. No, pretending you understand when you don't. No, staying quiet just because it's easier. Think about that. It asks for a perfect truthfulness that feels almost impossible for a real person. Ancient thinkers, people from thousands of years ago, spent their lives wondering about truth. They knew how tricky it was. They understood that sometimes we don't even fully know the truth about ourselves, let alone share every truth with others. Our own hearts can play little tricks, making us believe what's comfortable, or what keeps us safe from difficult feelings. Imagine your friend asks how you liked their favorite new song, which you actually found a bit annoying. Do you tell them exactly what you thought? Or do you say, "It's cool," to make them happy? Most of us would pick the kinder, softer answer. We do this not to be bad, but to protect feelings, or to keep things smooth. It's a very human way to navigate our world. So, maybe true power isn't in declaring we are always honest. That's a huge burden. Maybe real strength, the deeper trait, is in noticing those moments when we choose a different path. It's about being honest with ourselves about why we made that choice, and understanding that trying to live with integrity, while knowing we're not perfect, is a quiet, powerful journey we all share. Pretending to be super confident. Have you ever walked into a room, feeling a little shaky inside, but made your voice loud and your shoulders straight? Maybe you tried to act like you knew everything, even when your mind was a jumble of questions. It's a common feeling, this urge to put on a brave face, to pretend we're totally sure of ourselves, even when we're not. We all do it sometimes. We want to seem strong, fearless, like nothing can touch us. It's like wearing an invisible superhero cape, hoping no one sees the real us underneath. For a long time, people have thought about this. Ancient thinkers, like those in Greece, even talked about how we present different faces or masks to the world. Not literally, of course, but how we adapt our behavior to fit what we think others expect. They understood that the person we show outside isn't always the full story of who we are inside. It's a way to protect ourselves, to feel safe, or to try and fit in. Think about someone who always acts super cool, maybe even a little bit tough. They might never admit they're wrong or show any weakness. Here's the thing, sometimes that loud confidence is actually a very quiet fear. It's like a shield they're holding up, hoping no one sees how vulnerable they truly feel. They might worry deep down that if they show their true self, people won't like them, or they won't measure up. This can make them push people away instead of drawing them closer. But real strength and real confidence doesn't come from pretending. It comes from being honest with yourself. It's about understanding that it's okay to feel unsure, to have questions, to not know all the answers. The world doesn't need a perfect performance from you. It needs you, genuinely. And that's why it matters. True confidence blossoms when you accept all parts of yourself, not just the ones you think are strong. Thinking you're a really fast learner. Have you ever started learning something new, like a tricky dance move or a complicated math problem, and thought, "Yep, I got this," right away? It's a great feeling, that rush of confidence. But here's the thing, sometimes we feel like we understand quickly, when our brains are just skimming the surface. We mistake knowing a little for true understanding. It's like looking at a map and thinking you know a whole city, even if you've never walked its streets. Ancient thinkers understood this. They wisely said, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. This meant truly smart people know there's always more to learn. They stay humble. Thinking you've mastered something quickly can actually slow you down. You stop asking questions, stop digging deeper, and that's why it matters. Think about learning a new song on the guitar. You might get basic chords down quickly. You can strum it slowly. You feel good, nailed it. You might think, but can you play it perfectly, at full speed, with all the feeling? Probably not yet. Getting the basics is one thing. Really knowing it, making it yours, takes practice, mistakes, and patience. It takes time for those brain connections to truly get strong. It's okay not to be the fastest learner. It's more important to be a deep learner, to take your time, to question, to try again. Real understanding doesn't happen in a blink. It grows, like a strong tree, rooted firmly with effort and reflection. So, let's be kind to ourselves, giving our minds the space and time they truly need to grasp something deeply, instead of just pretending we already do. The "I'm good at everything" mindset Have you ever felt like you just naturally nailed everything you try? Like, no matter what it is, a new game, a school project, a sport, you just get it, instantly. It's a pretty powerful feeling, isn't it? That rush of confidence, thinking you're already a master. But here's the thing. Sometimes, the picture we paint in our minds of ourselves doesn't quite match the real world. We can feel truly skilled, yet still have so much more to learn, or even be wrong about our abilities. This idea of thinking we're super competent, even when we're just starting, isn't new. Long ago, the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates was famous for saying, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." He meant that real understanding often begins when we admit we have limitations, or when we accept that we don't know everything. It's a humbling thought, but also a really freeing one. It opens us up to seeing the world, and ourselves, more clearly. Think about learning to play an instrument, like a guitar. At first, you might strum a few chords and think, wow, I'm pretty good at this. The basic notes seem easy enough. But then you try to play a real song, with complex chords and fast changes, and suddenly it's much harder. You realize there's a huge difference between strumming a few chords and truly mastering the instrument. This journey from thinking you know it all to realizing how much more there is a common path. It's not about being bad. It's about seeing the vastness of what's out there, and that's okay. It's more than okay, actually. To truly grow, we have to gently let go of the idea that we're already experts. When we admit to ourselves where we need to learn, where we might not be as strong as we thought, that's where true strength and wisdom begin to bloom. It helps us stay curious and open, ready to really learn and experience the world, instead of just assuming we already understand it all. And that can make life much more interesting. Believing you're always kind. Have you ever stopped to think, really think, about how often you believe you're being kind? Most of us, deep down, see ourselves as good people. We want to be thoughtful, helpful, and gentle. It's a comforting thought, isn't it? This idea that kindness is just part of us, always shining through. But here's the thing. Sometimes, what feels kind to us might not feel kind to someone else. It's like having a special filter over our own actions. We see our intentions, the good thoughts behind what we do or say. We forget that others only see what comes out, the actual words, the way we look, the way we act. Thinkers for centuries have noticed this. They wondered why seeing ourselves clearly is so hard, why our own view of me can be so different from how others see us. It's part of being human, this tricky mirror we hold up. Imagine your friend is really struggling with a math problem. You want to help, so you lean over and loudly explain the answer, maybe even taking their pencil and doing some of it for them. In your mind, you're being super kind, a helpful hero. But your friend, they might feel embarrassed, like you just showed everyone they don't get it, or maybe even think you're being bossy. Your kindness, though real in your heart, might have landed like a heavy weight, not a soft touch. It's like wanting to give someone a warm blanket, but you accidentally throw a heavy towel. The intent was comfort, but the impact was different. So maybe true kindness isn't just about our good intentions. Maybe it's also about truly seeing the other person, understanding their feelings, and trying to imagine how our actions will actually feel to them. It's a quieter, deeper kind of awareness. It means stepping outside our own heads for a moment, and letting the warmth of our kindness truly reach another, just as it was meant to. The "I don't need help" attitude. Have you ever felt a knot in your stomach when someone offered to help you? Like, even if you were struggling, saying yes would make you feel smaller. That feeling, that's the "I don't need help" attitude. It's like we'd build a wall, thinking we have to figure everything out on our own. We tell ourselves that needing help means we're not smart enough, or strong enough. But here's the thing. It's a trait we think we own, this fierce independence, but it actually holds us back from true strength. For a long time, in stories and old tales, heroes were always the ones who faced everything alone. Think about a knight battling dragons by himself. We admire that courage, but even the bravest knights had squires, or wise mentors, or a whole kingdom backing them up. The idea that strength means standing completely alone, that's an old, but not always helpful thought. Real life is usually more complicated than those old stories. Imagine building a complex Lego castle. You've got all the pieces, and the instructions are tricky. You struggle, maybe get frustrated, but then a friend, who built one last year, offers to show you a trick for the tower. If you say no, I got this, even when you're stuck, you might spend hours longer, or even give up. But if you let them show you, you learn something new, build the castle faster, and make it cooler than you could have alone. It's not a failure to accept that help. It's actually a smarter way to build. It's how scientists share ideas to solve big problems. How athletes use coaches to get better. Sometimes, the strongest thing we can do is admit we don't know everything, or that we could use a different perspective. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to let someone in. True strength isn't about carrying every burden alone. It's about knowing when to reach out, when to connect, and that our greatest achievements come from working together. It's about building something bigger than ourselves, with others, rather than just struggling in silence. This can help you grow in ways you never expected. When you say you're a great debater, have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you totally won, but the other person just seemed quiet, or even sad? We often think being a great debater means being loud, fast, or always having the last word. We imagine ourselves shutting down opponents with clever comebacks. But here's the thing, a truly great debater isn't just about winning, it's about something much deeper. Long ago, thinkers like the ancient Greeks, especially a guy named Socrates, believed that talking was a way to find truth. They called it dialectic, a fancy word for a deep conversation. People asked questions and explored ideas together. It wasn't about one person beating another, it was about everyone learning more, even if they started out disagreeing. The goal wasn't to win against your friend, it was to win with them, by building a better understanding. Don't think about two friends trying to pick a movie. One friend might shout, "This one, it's the best." The other might just give up. But what if they both truly listened? Why do you like that one? What kind of movie are you in the mood for? They aren't trying to make the other person feel dumb. They're trying to understand, so they can pick something they both enjoy. A real debate is like that. It's like scientists sharing findings. They challenge each other, not to prove someone wrong, but to make the science stronger. So, when you say you're a great debater, are you really saying you're great at listening, great at understanding, or great at making sure your words actually build bridges instead of walls? Maybe the true strength isn't in defeating an idea, but in bravely exploring it, even if it changes your own mind. It's about the quiet power of truly hearing another person, and letting their thoughts gently touch your own. Thinking you'll never awkward ever feel like you just glide through every situation. You watch someone trip over words or spill something, and you think, "I'd never do that." It's common, this feeling of being above little clumsy or embarrassing moments. We often believe we're the exception, always knowing what to say or how to act. But here's the thing, that idea of being perfectly smooth is often just a wish, not the real story. People have thought about this for ages. In old stories and plays, characters try to look strong and in control, even when scared. It's a human desire to put on a brave face, to show the world our best self. We want to be accepted, right? So, we build an image of ourselves that's cool, calm, and collected. Think about a duck on a pond. On top, it looks peaceful, floating along, but underneath, its feet paddle like crazy to keep it moving smoothly. That's a lot like us. We might seem chill outside, but inside, we're sometimes feeling a little awkward or silly, like saying "you too" to the waiter. In that moment, your brain probably screams, "Awkward," but honestly, the waiter likely didn't even notice. This feeling of awkwardness, that slight wobble inside, isn't something to hide. It's part of being human. It means you're trying, engaging with the world, and you're alive. It shows you care about connecting with others. And when we realize everyone has these duck feet moments, it actually brings us closer. It reminds us we're all doing our best, navigating life, one slightly clumsy, wonderfully human step at a time. And that's a pretty powerful thought. Pretending to be easygoing. Have you ever felt a tug inside, where your heart says one thing, but your smile says another? Maybe someone suggests plans you dread, or a situation makes you deeply uncomfortable, but instead of saying how you really feel, you just nod. You say, "Sure, no problem," or "I'm good with anything." That's pretending to be easy. It's like putting on a mask, a calm, chill face, even when your insides are a tangled mess of nerves or disappointment. For a long time, people have felt this pressure. Even ancient thinkers knew we often show a side we think others want to see. It's a way to fit in, to avoid arguments, or just to seem like the cool person who never gets bothered. We build this quiet wall around our true feelings. Imagine you're at school, and everyone wants to pick a group project topic. You have a great idea, but you worry it might seem too much. So, when someone suggests something you don't like, you just shrug. "Whatever works for everyone," you say, trying to sound chill. but deep down, you're annoyed, even a little sad, that your voice isn't heard. It's like a swan gliding on a lake. On the surface, it looks calm, but underneath, its feet are paddling hard. This act, this constant effort to seem unfazed, gets heavy. It takes a lot of energy to keep your real feelings hidden. What if, instead, we were a little less easygoing sometimes, and more honest? It takes courage to say, actually, I'd prefer something else, or that makes me feel worried. When we pretend, we miss true connection. We also miss understanding ourselves. It's okay to have feelings that aren't always calm. Being real, even if it means not being perfectly easygoing, can be the bravest thing we do. The I can handle anything vibe. Have you ever felt like you had to be strong all the time? Like you had to carry every problem yourself, without showing a crack? This feeling, this I can handle anything vibe, it's powerful. It makes you feel ready for anything, like a superhero. But here's the thing, sometimes, this feeling isn't truly what's happening inside. It's a mask we wear, a way to tell the world we're okay, even when we might not be. Humans have always done this. Think about ancient stories, where heroes never showed fear, always stood tall. Or even today, how we admire people who seem totally unfazed by tough situations. We wish we could be like that. We believe if we act like we can handle everything, then we actually will. It's a comforting thought, a shield we put up. But a shield, no matter how shiny, can also keep others out. Imagine a tall, solid brick wall around a beautiful garden. The wall protects the garden from storms, sure, but it also blocks the sunlight from reaching some flowers. It makes it harder for the gardener to get in and tend to what's inside, and it stops anyone from seeing the beauty growing there. That's a bit like our I can handle anything wall. We build it to protect ourselves from feeling hurt or overwhelmed. We think it makes us stronger, but sometimes it just keeps us from getting the care we need, or from letting others see our true self. It can feel lonely behind that wall. So, maybe true strength isn't about never needing help. Maybe it's about knowing when to open a gate in that wall, to let a little light in, or to let someone lend a hand. It's okay to not handle everything alone. That quiet admission, that gentle lowering of the guard, can be a different kind of brave. It's allowing yourself to truly feel, and that's a real deep kind of strength. Believing you're always right about people. Have you ever met someone new and felt like you just knew them? Right away, you had a feeling about who they were, what they liked, maybe even what kind of friend they'd be. It's a common feeling, that quiet certainty inside us, thinking we've figured someone out in an instant. But here's the thing, people are not simple equations. They're more like entire libraries, filled with stories, poems, and even some blank pages waiting to be written. For a long, long time, people have tried to understand each other. Thinkers in ancient Greece wondered if we could ever truly know another person, or even ourselves. They knew our minds are quick to make sense of the world, to put things into boxes. This helped our ancestors stay safe, quickly judging if someone was a friend or a threat. But today, that quick judgment can sometimes get in the way of seeing the real person. We build a picture in our heads, and it can be hard to change it, even when new information comes along. Imagine you see a movie trailer. It gives you some clues, a few exciting scenes, and maybe a hint of the story. Based on that, you might decide if you like the movie or not. But the actual film, it has so much more. There are quiet moments, surprising twists, and depths you never saw in those first few seconds. It's the same with people. We often see just a trailer, their clothes, how they talk in one situation, maybe a rumor, and then we believe we know the whole movie. But when we hold on to that first impression too tightly, we miss out. We close ourselves off to the wonder of discovering what's truly inside another human being. It takes courage to admit we might be wrong, to let go of our own knowing. But doing that, being patient and open, allows us to see the beautiful, complex, ever-changing person standing right in front of us. It's a gift, really, to be shown someone's full story, one chapter at a time. When you think you're super creative, have you ever felt like you're bursting with new ideas? Or maybe you've drawn something, written a story, and thought, this is amazing, I'm so creative. It's a wonderful feeling, that spark. But here's the thing, sometimes, what we think is pure, original genius might just be our brain putting familiar pieces together in a new way, and that's okay. It's how most creativity actually works. Don't think about it. Even the greatest thinkers, the artists you study in history class, they didn't just invent everything from nothing. Like Isaac Newton, he saw an apple fall, and it made him think about gravity. but people saw apples fall all the time before him. He just looked at it differently, connected it to other things he knew about the world, or even old philosophers. They talked about how new ideas often come from combining old ideas. It's like building with LED. You use the same bricks everyone else has, but you build something nobody else has thought of. You might be designing a new outfit. You didn't invent fabric or buttons, but you took patterns you saw online, colors from a sunset, and a feeling from a song, and put them together in a way that feels totally you. That's creativity in action. It's not magic from thin air. It's more like a really good remix of existing thoughts and feelings. Scientists do this too. They don't just invent a new medicine from zero. They take known chemicals, known problems, and experiment with combinations until something new helps. So, when you feel that creative rush, know that it's real, it's powerful. But instead of thinking you just invented something no one has ever touched, maybe see it as a beautiful, unique combination. It means you have a special way of seeing the world, connecting dots others might miss, and that's your true creative gift. It's about your perspective, not necessarily creating something that literally never existed before. It's a quieter kind of creativity, maybe, but just as deep. It's about how you see, how you connect. Saying you're a good public speaker. Have you ever thought about what it truly means to be a good public speaker? It's easy to say, oh, I'm great at talking in front of people. Maybe you don't get nervous, or you can speak for a long time. But here's the thing. Speaking is so much more than just making sounds with your mouth. It's about reaching out, heart to heart, mind to mind. Real public speaking isn't just about the words that leave your lips. It's about the connection that forms, or doesn't form, with the people listening. Think about it. Long ago, thinkers like the Greek philosopher Plato talked about dialectic, the art of conversation and understanding through questions. Even then, it wasn't just about one person giving a speech. It was about shared meaning. A truly good speaker helps the audience feel something, understand something, and maybe even change something within themselves. Imagine you're trying to teach your friend a brand new, super complicated board game. You know all the rules. You can explain every single detail perfectly. You speak clearly and confidently. But if your friend walks away still confused, or feeling like they just got a lecture instead of an invitation to play, were you truly a good teacher? Or did you just talk a lot? The goal wasn't just to speak, but for your friend to understand and even feel excited about the game. It's the same with speaking to a crowd. You might feel confident, but the real measure isn't your comfort. It's the silent nod of understanding in the back row, the spark of curiosity in someone's eyes, the feeling that you've somehow managed to put a feeling or an idea into their heart. Saying you're a good speaker is easy. Being a good speaker means you've touched another soul with your voice, inviting them into your world, even just for a moment. It's a quiet strength, built on empathy and a deep desire to truly be heard and understood. Pretending to be tough all the time. Do you ever feel like you have to wear a special kind of armor? Not shiny metal armor, but an invisible one. It's the one we put on when we act like nothing bothers us, when we pretend we don't care, even when our insides are doing a flip. Here's the thing. Sometimes, we think being tough means never showing our feelings, never letting anyone see us scared, or sad, or even just a little bit unsure. But what if that tough act isn't really us? For centuries, people have tried to seem strong, to keep a stiff upper lip. Think about those old stories where heroes never cried, or never seemed afraid. It was a way to survive, to show the world they were powerful, or safe. We learn it from TV, from friends, sometimes even from adults who tell us to be strong. But deep down, everyone has soft spots. Imagine a crab on the beach. It has a really hard shell, right? It looks totally protected, but underneath that tough shell, it's squishy and vulnerable. If it never came out of its shell, it couldn't find food, or explore the ocean. We're a bit like that crab. If we always hide behind our tough act, we miss out on real connections. Maybe you pretend a mean comment didn't hurt, or that you didn't really want to be picked for the team, but inside it stings. Here's what I found. Real strength isn't about never feeling anything. It's about having the courage to feel things deeply, and sometimes, to let others see that. It's okay to not be tough all the time. In fact, being brave enough to be a little soft, a little open, that's where true power lies. It lets you breathe. It lets others in. And that's how we find the real, honest parts of ourselves, the ones that matter most. The I never cry rule. Have you ever heard someone say, I never cry? Or maybe you've thought it about yourself. People wear this like a badge, thinking it means they're super tough or strong. But here's the thing, is that really true deep down? Can a heart truly go through life without ever feeling a tear? For a long time, especially for boys and men, crying was seen as weak. It was something to hide, a private moment, or not at all. This idea passed down for generations. People believed if you didn't cry, you were brave and unshakable. It was almost a rule, don't show that emotion. But feelings aren't things you can turn off like a switch. They are powerful. Think about a super full backpack. You keep stuffing things in: books, lunch, maybe a heavy jacket. You zip it up, pretending it's fine. But inside, all that weight presses and pushes. Eventually, something has to give. Maybe a seam rips, or the zipper breaks. Our emotions are like that backpack. When we say we never cry, we're stuffing away tough feelings, sadness, or pain. We try to act like they aren't there. Sadness, frustration, even joy, they are all natural parts of being human. Tears are just one way our body lets out some pressure. It's not about being weak. It's a sign you're letting yourself feel what's real. When you let those feelings out, it doesn't break you. Instead, it makes room for something new. It helps you understand yourself better. So, maybe true strength isn't holding back tears. Maybe it's being brave enough to let them fall when they need to. It's about being honest with your heart. Thinking you're always calm. Do you ever feel like nothing can shake you? Like you're always the one who stays cool, no matter what? It's a comforting thought, isn't it? Believing you have this superpower of calm. We all want to be that steady rock, especially when things get messy around us. But here's the thing. Sometimes we think we're calm, even when deep down, our feelings are doing a little dance, or even a full-on storm. It's like a calm surface on a lake, but underneath, currents are swirling. Our minds can trick us into believing we're perfectly still, when really, we're just good at hiding the ripples from ourselves. Long ago, thinkers called Stoics, like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, talked a lot about controlling your inner world. They didn't mean pretending feelings weren't there. Instead, they focused on what you could control, your reactions, your choices, not the feeling itself. They knew that feelings would come. The trick wasn't to stop them, but to not let them control you. So, when we ignore how we truly feel, thinking that as being calm, we might be missing the point. True calm isn't an absence of feeling. It's being aware of your feelings and choosing how to respond. Imagine you're playing a video game, and the level gets super hard. You might tell yourself, I'm totally fine, I'm not stressed. But maybe your shoulders are tensed, your grip on the controller is super tight, and your heart is beating a little faster. On the outside, you might seem focused. On the inside, your body is telling a different story. It's like a quiet alarm bell you're choosing not to hear. Or think about a friend who says they're totally chill about a test, but then they can't sleep and snap at little things. Their calm isn't real. So, what does this mean for us? It means true calm begins with honesty. It's okay to feel upset or anxious or frustrated. That's being human. Real strength isn't about never having these feelings. It's about noticing them, understanding them, and then choosing how to move forward. It's about allowing those waves to pass through you, instead of building a wall that pretends they aren't there. When you acknowledge your true feelings, even the messy ones, you actually open the door to a deeper, more genuine peace. And that's why it matters. Believing you're the most responsible. Do you ever feel like the entire success of something rests on your shoulders alone? Like if you don't step up, everything will fall apart. Maybe it's a group project, or a family chore, or even just making sure your friends have a good time. Here's the thing. It's a powerful feeling, believing you're the most responsible. It can make you try harder, work longer, and push yourself. But sometimes, this belief isn't quite right. We tell ourselves we have to be the one, because no one else cares enough, or no one else will do it right. This isn't always true. We forget that other people have their own responsibilities, their own strengths, and their own desire to help. Think about it like an old idea, talked about by thinkers long ago. They asked, what is truly yours to control, and what isn't? Our part is ours, but the whole outcome often depends on many parts, not just one. Imagine a soccer team. You might be the best player, or the one who tries hardest. You could feel like you have to score every goal, defend every play, and lead every charge. But a team, a real team, wins when every player does their specific job. The goalie makes saves, the defender stops attacks, the midfielder sets up plays, and the striker scores. If one player tries to do everyone's job, They get tired, make mistakes, and hurt the team. It's not about you carrying the entire weight. It's about you doing your part well and trusting others to do theirs. It's okay to do your best. It's okay to be reliable. But it's also okay to let go of the idea that only you can make things happen. Sharing responsibility means understanding the power of many, and that can feel lighter, freeing you to truly shine in your own role, without the heavy burden of carrying everyone else's. The "I always keep secrets" promise. Have you ever promised to keep something absolutely private, a secret locked away in your mind? We often believe we're amazing at holding secrets, that our lips are forever sealed. But here's the thing, that promise, the one about always keeping secrets, is much harder to keep than we realize. It's not about being a bad person, it's just how our minds work. Imagine a secret like a tiny, restless thought. You can try to hold it, but it buzzes, it wants attention. Over time, that thought seeks release. Even long ago, wise people wondered about the power of words. They saw how thoughts naturally want to flow. When we carry a secret, our brain wants to process, organize, and often share it. Our minds connect us, and exchanging thoughts is natural. Think of a dam holding back water. A small crack might appear. Slowly, the water's pressure will find that crack and push its way through. A secret is like that pressure. It sits there, and sometimes, without even meaning to, a little piece slips out. Maybe it shows in your face, or you say something a little too close to the truth. This isn't a failure. It's just how information and human connection work. We are social. Holding on to something meant for sharing can be a heavy burden. So, maybe the real trait isn't "I always keep secrets." Maybe it's "I truly try my best to be trustworthy." True loyalty isn't about perfectly hiding every piece of information forever. It's about the effort and true intention. It's about understanding that some things are too heavy to carry alone. We are all just trying to navigate a world full of shared stories and hidden truths, and that's okay. When you say you're never jealous, have you ever told yourself, or someone else, "I never get jealous"? It feels good to say that, right? Like you're somehow above those messy, difficult feelings. But here's the thing, jealousy is a deeply human emotion. It's not about being bad, but about being real. It's that quiet whisper inside when someone else gets something you truly wished for. Maybe a starring role in the school play, or a new phone that's even cooler than yours, or simply a friend's attention that used to be all yours. It's not necessarily about disliking the other person. It's often about feeling a little less, a little left out, or even worried you might lose something important. People have felt this way for thousands of years. Ancient Greek thinkers and poets wrote about jealousy, seeing it as a powerful current running through human hearts. It's not a new feeling created by social media or modern life. It's a primal part of us, a natural response to perceived threats or desires for what others have. It shows we care about what we have, or what we deeply wish we had. Think of it like this. Imagine you're holding a glass of water, and someone else is holding a bigger, prettier glass. You might not hate them, but a small part of you wishes your glass was just as grand. Or, picture your shadow on a sunny day. It's always there, right behind you. Sometimes it's long and noticeable, sometimes short and easy to ignore. Jealousy can be like that shadow. You might not want to acknowledge it. You might even try to turn away, but it's still present. It's a part of your emotional landscape, whether you look at it directly or not. Maybe your friend aces a test you struggled with, and you feel that tiny tug, a silent "why not me?" That's just your shadow, a flicker of that human feeling, and it's completely okay. Understanding this shadow isn't about judging yourself as good or bad. It's about knowing yourself better. It's about being brave enough to notice the subtle feelings inside you. When you truly look at that shadow, you can begin to understand what it's trying to tell you, maybe what you truly value, or what you feel is missing. And sometimes, just recognizing it, accepting it as part of being human, can make its hold a little softer, a little less sharp. Thinking you're super good at decisions, have you ever felt completely, absolutely sure about a choice you were making? Deep down, you just knew it was the right path. Maybe an answer on a test, trusting a friend, or what to wear. Here's the thing, sometimes that feeling of certainty can be tricky. We often believe we're excellent at making choices about ourselves and our abilities. But what if that strong feeling of knowing is actually hiding something else? Long ago, ancient Greek thinkers wondered how well we truly know ourselves. They said, "Know thyself." They understood it's hard to see our own minds clearly. We remember when we got it right, and those successes stick. We often forget when decisions led to problems, or when someone else's idea was better. This makes us feel like we're always right, even when we aren't. Here's how it works. Imagine planning a group project. You know your approach is best. You feel super confident explaining your strategy. Sure, it will lead to a great grade. But as you work, your plan shows holes. Maybe it takes too long. You realize a teammate's dismissed idea might have been simpler. It's not that you tried to be wrong. Confidence sometimes blinds us to other options. This isn't about saying you're bad at choices. Not at all. It's about understanding our brains love to feel smart and capable. Sometimes, that makes us believe we're better than we are. It's a quiet whisper telling us our decisions are flawless. Real strength isn't in being perfect, but in being open to learning, even when it means admitting we might have been a little off. Truly understanding yourself means gently questioning absolute certainty and staying curious about other ways of seeing. It's a brave and honest way to grow. Pretending to be super thoughtful. Have you ever caught yourself making a serious face, maybe a slow nod, just to look thoughtful, like you're solving a big problem, but inside, your mind is blank, or you're just thinking about dinner? That's pretending to be super thoughtful. It's not about truly understanding something. It's more about putting on a show, trying to appear wise or insightful to others, and sometimes even to ourselves. Here's the thing, real thoughtfulness isn't a performance. It's a quiet, inner process. People have talked about this for centuries. Even ancient thinkers noticed the difference between seeming good and being good. They knew it's easy to wear a mask, to act a certain way for praise or to convince ourselves. But true wisdom comes from within, not from faking a serious gaze. Think about someone who says, "I've really considered this," then gives advice they don't follow themselves. Or maybe they nod slowly, look intense, but you later realize they weren't listening at all, just waiting to talk. That's pretending. It's like a beautifully wrapped gift box that's empty inside. It looks impressive, but there's no real substance. Why do we do this? Maybe we want to fit in, or feel important. Perhaps we fear that admitting we don't know everything will make people think less of us. But here's the truth. It's okay not to have all the answers. The real magic happens when we stop trying to look thoughtful and start actually being present, listening, and truly reflecting. That's where genuine understanding begins. It's a quiet, honest power, far deeper than any act we could put on. The "I always know what to say" myth. Have you ever had that moment? You're standing there, a friend needs comfort, or an adult asks a tough question, and your mind just goes completely blank. You search for the perfect words, but your brain feels like an empty room. We often carry this quiet belief that we should always know exactly what to say, that the right answer or the perfect response should just appear. But here's the thing, that idea is a myth, and it puts a lot of unfair pressure on us. For a long time, people have looked up to speakers who could charm crowds or share deep wisdom with just the right words. Think of ancient storytellers or powerful leaders. This made it seem like being smart meant always having a quick, brilliant reply. And so, we started to believe that if we didn't have instant answers, we weren't smart enough or caring enough. It makes us feel awkward, like we've failed a secret test. But our brains aren't just instant answer machines. Imagine your mind like a huge library. When someone asks a simple question, you can grab a book right away. But when feelings are big, or the situation is complicated, it's like someone asked for a book that hasn't even been written yet, or it's hidden on a dark, dusty shelf. Your brain needs time to sort through all the emotions, the memories, and the facts, before it can even begin to write a coherent sentence. It's not a failure. It's just how thinking and feeling work. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is just be present. A gentle hand on a shoulder, a quiet nod, or simply being there to listen without judgment can mean more than any perfectly crafted sentence. It's okay to not have all the answers, and it's okay for your mind to need a moment. True connection often comes not from finding the flawless words, but from showing up, even when your speech feels stuck. That's a deep kind of wisdom all on its own. Believing you're a great problem solver. Have you ever thought about how good you are at fixing things? Like, really good. Most of us like to think we're pretty sharp, especially when a tough situation comes up. We often feel a rush when we think we've found the perfect answer. We see a challenge, and our mind quickly jumps to a solution. And it feels right, doesn't it? That feeling can make us believe we're amazing at solving problems. even if our solutions don't always work out the way we hoped. Here's the thing, sometimes we're so sure of our own cleverness, we don't even see the real problem, or we miss better ways to solve it. Think back to ancient times. Even then, smart thinkers talked about knowing yourself. They meant understanding what you're good at, but also what you're not so good at. It's a very old idea that our minds can sometimes play tricks on us. We're wired to feel capable, and that's good, but it can also blind us a little. It's like we have this inner voice that says, "I got this," even when maybe we don't completely. Imagine you're trying to put together a complicated model kit, maybe for a science project. You glance at the instructions, feel like you get the gist, and start gluing pieces together. You're thinking, "I'm a pro," but then you realize you've skipped a step, or put parts in the wrong place. Suddenly, what you thought was a quick fix turns into a bigger mess. It's not that you're bad, it's just that confidence made you rush past the actual details. So, it's not about being bad at solving problems. It's about remembering that the best problem solvers aren't always the fastest. They're the ones who pause, look closer, and stay open to learning they might be wrong. It takes real courage to admit you don't know everything, and that kind of honesty, that's where true understanding and better solutions really begin. It's a quiet strength, this willingness to truly see, instead of just assuming. When you think you're always energetic, have you ever felt you must be on all the time, like you need to zoom through every day, bursting with energy, never slowing down? It's a powerful feeling, believing you're an endless powerhouse. You might tell yourself, "I'm always full of life." But here's the thing, even bright stars need quiet moments. We often think we're always energetic. We push past tiredness, convinced we don't need breaks. Maybe we fear missing out, or feel pressure to always achieve. But true energy isn't a constant, endless wave. It ebbs and flows, like the ocean tide. Sometimes it's high and roaring, sometimes it pulls back, needing rest. This isn't weakness, it's just how we're built. Think about old stories, even from ancient Greece. Philosophers like Aristotle spoke of balance. They knew everything, even our spirits, needs rhythm. Not everything can be at full speed. The idea was harmony. Rest isn't laziness, it's vital for strength. This old wisdom tells us to listen to our nature. It's kind of like your phone. You use it all day, games, texts, videos. It feels like it can go forever, right? But soon, the battery icon turns red. If you keep pushing, it dies. Your phone isn't broken, it just needs to recharge. We are much like that. Our bodies and minds have batteries too. They get drained and need time to plug in and fill back up. So, maybe the trait isn't always energetic. Maybe it's aware of my energy. It's about being kind to yourself. Listening when your body whispers, "I'm tired." It's okay to pause. It's okay to just be for a moment. There's real strength, a quiet power, in accepting your limits and allowing yourself the rest you truly need. And that's why it matters. Understanding this helps you live a much fuller, more gentle life. Saying you're a morning person but aren't. Do you ever roll out of bed? The alarm ringing like an emergency, and tell everyone you're a morning person. Maybe you even try to believe it yourself. But deep down, as you rub your eyes and wish for 5 more minutes, your body tells a different story. This is one of those gentle lies we tell, not to hurt anyone, but maybe to fit into an idea of what we think we should be. We say we love the sunrise, the quiet start, the fresh day, but inside, we're still wrapped in a cloud of sleep. For a long time, getting up super early was seen as a really good thing. People believed it showed you were hardworking, disciplined, and ready to take on the world. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. The old saying goes, it felt like a rule we all had to follow to be successful, even if our own natural rhythms just didn't agree. We learned to think there was something wrong with us if we weren't bouncing with energy at 6 a.m. Here's the thing, our bodies have their own clocks. They're called circadian rhythms. For some people, their clock is naturally set to wake up earlier, full of energy. For others, especially in your age group, your body clock is just wired to prefer staying up later and waking up later. It's not about being lazy or imagine trying to force a daisy to bloom at midnight. It just doesn't work that way. So, when you drag yourself to the bus stop, eyes half closed, but tell your friend, "I'm great, I love mornings," you're fighting your own true nature. It's like trying to wear shoes 2 sizes too small. It might look okay for a second, but it's just uncomfortable, and that's okay. It's more than okay. It's about listening to the quiet truth of your own body, your own self. There's no shame in admitting that mornings aren't your favorite, or that you truly shine later in the day. Sometimes, the most important strength is the quiet courage to accept who you really are, rather than pretending to be what you think you should be. You don't have to force yourself into a mold that doesn't fit. Just be, and let your own unique rhythm guide you. Pretending you love every subject. Have you ever sat in class, nodding, pretending to be fascinated by a topic that, deep down, just doesn't spark anything? Maybe it's history, algebra, or a science experiment everyone else seems excited about. We've all been there. It's that feeling like you should love every subject, or at least act like you do. We might do it to impress a teacher, please parents, or because we think being smart means being interested in everything. But here's the thing. Forcing yourself to feel passion for every subject is exhausting. It's like trying to make every color in a rainbow your favorite. They're all beautiful, but you naturally have ones that catch your eye more. People throughout history have felt this pressure. Think about old stories of brilliant minds who seemed to know about art, science, and philosophy all at once. This created an idea that true intelligence means being equally good at everything. That's a tough standard. Here's what I mean. Imagine you're at a family dinner, and someone serves a dish you just don't like. Maybe lima beans. Everyone says how delicious they are. Do you force a smile and pretend it's your favorite? You might take a tiny bite to be polite, but you won't genuinely enjoy it. And that's okay. It doesn't make you rude for having a preference. When you pretend to love every subject, you're not just fooling others. You might start to fool yourself. You spend energy acting instead of genuinely exploring what truly lights you up. Our minds are like vast gardens. Some areas grow flowers, some are perfect for vegetables, and some are quiet paths. It's okay for certain parts to be more vibrant. So, maybe it's time to be kind to yourself. It's truly okay not to be thrilled by every textbook or lecture. Acknowledging what doesn't connect with you doesn't make you less smart or less capable. Instead, it makes you more honest. And that honesty can actually free up space and energy to truly dig deep into subjects that do set your mind alight, letting your genuine curiosity lead the way. The I never get distracted idea. Have you ever really believed you could just sit down and focus, no matter what? Like your brain was a super powerful spotlight, shining only on what you wanted it to. Many of us tell ourselves, I can totally concentrate, I never get distracted. But here's the thing, that idea, that belief, might be one of the traits we think we own, but maybe don't, not completely anyway. Think about it. Our minds are busy places. Long ago, people like the ancient Greek thinkers knew this. They talked about how our thoughts can wander like restless little animals. It's not a new problem. It's part of being human. Our brains are always scanning, always looking for something new or interesting, or even something dangerous. It's how we survived, really. This constant scanning isn't a flaw. It's a feature, even if it makes homework tough. Imagine you're trying to read a really important chapter for history class. You're sitting there, the book open, ready to understand, and then a tiny notification lights up your phone screen. Or maybe your pet cat jumps onto the desk and bats at your pen. Suddenly, your spotlight isn't on ancient Rome anymore. It's on that quick glance at your phone, or the fluffy tail twitching right in front of you. Just for a second, but that second often stretches, right? This isn't about being bad at focusing. It's about recognizing how our minds truly work. It's about seeing that distraction isn't a personal failure, but a natural part of being alive, a side effect of a curious, watchful brain. When you know this, you can be a little kinder to yourself. You can understand that it's okay for your focus to drift, and that learning to gently bring it back is the real skill. It's not about never getting distracted, it's about not letting it completely take over. Thinking you're amazing at multitasking. Have you ever tried to do your homework, text a friend, and listen to music all at the same time? It feels powerful, doesn't it? Like you're a super-efficient human, handling everything the world throws at you. We often believe we're amazing at juggling multiple tasks, that our brains can zip between different things without missing a beat. But here's the thing, our minds aren't actually built that way. What feels like multitasking is really just fast task switching. Imagine you have a computer with 10 tabs open. You can only truly look at one tab at a time, even if you click between them super fast. Your brain does something similar. It closes one mental tab, opens another, then quickly closes that one to open the first again. Each time it switches, there's a tiny pause, a small energy cost. Ancient thinkers, long before computers, understood the value of deep focus. They spoke about giving your whole self to one thing, not because they wanted to be slow, but because they knew true understanding, true connection, comes from undivided attention. It's like trying to have two conversations at once. You hear pieces of both, but you don't really listen to either. You miss the nuances, the feelings behind the words. Think about trying to learn a new song on an instrument while also watching a TV show. Your fingers might hit the right notes sometimes, but your brain isn't fully grasping the rhythm or the melody. You're not really playing, and you're not really watching. Neither experience feels complete. When we try to do too many things, we don't do any of them as well as we could. We end up feeling scattered, a little bit rushed, and sometimes even more tired. Maybe the real superpower isn't doing everything at once, but choosing one thing and giving it your calm, full attention. It lets you be truly present, and that can feel like a deep kind of peace. Believing you're a great cook. Have you ever made something in the kitchen, tasting it yourself and thinking, wow, this is amazing? You feel proud. You set it down for your family, expecting huge compliments. But then, maybe the praise is a little quiet, or the smiles seem a bit forced. This feeling, this gap between what we imagine and what's real, happens a lot. It's a strange thing, how we see ourselves. We often create a picture in our minds of who we are, what we're good at. For cooking, maybe we remember that one dish we aced, or how our grandma always said we had good hands for baking. So, we build this idea, I am a great cook. But sometimes, that idea gets bigger than the actual skills. Think about the ancient Greek philosophers. They talked about know thyself. It sounds simple, but it means really looking at yourself, honestly, not just seeing what you want to see. For cooking, it's like having a blind spot. You might love a lot of spice, so you add tons. To you, it's perfect. But to someone else, it might just be too hot to enjoy. It's like a scientific experiment gone wrong in a small way. You follow the recipe, you think, you add the ingredients you like, but the final result might not be what others expect. Maybe the cake is a bit dry, or the pasta sauce lacks something crucial. Your taste buds, your personal history, they shape your judgment. They might trick you into thinking your food is better than it actually is. For everyone else, it's not about being bad at something. It's about how hard it is to see ourselves clearly. Our hearts want to believe we're amazing, and that's a beautiful thing. But true growth, true skill, comes from the courage to ask, to listen. It comes from being open to the idea that maybe, just maybe, that lasagna could use a little more salt next time, or a different kind of cheese. It's okay if your kitchen masterpiece isn't always a hit. The journey of making things, and learning from them, that's where the real flavor is. It's about finding joy in the process, not just the perfect outcome, and being okay with not being perfect. The I'm always happy for others illusion. Have you ever seen someone you know achieve something amazing? Maybe a friend aces a test, or a teammate wins a big award. You probably felt happy for them, right? You cheered, you smiled. But here's the thing. Did a tiny, quiet thought ever sneak in? A thought like, I wish that were me, or why not me? We tell ourselves we're always purely joyful for other people's wins. We want to be, and often, we are, but sometimes, our own hopes and dreams cast a little shadow over their sunshine. This isn't about being a bad person. It's about being human. For a long time, people have thought about these mixed feelings. Even ancient Greek philosophers wrote about something called envy. It wasn't just wanting what someone else had. It was also sometimes feeling a little sad or restless that we didn't have it. Even while admiring their success, they understood the human heart is a complicated place, holding many feelings at once. Think about it like this. Imagine you're watching your friend perfectly land a difficult skateboard trick after weeks of practice. You feel proud of them, truly, but then a little voice might whisper, "Man, I've been trying that for ages, and I can't do it." You're still happy for your friend, but that small thought is there too. It's like two different tunes playing softly in your mind at the same time. This isn't a flaw in your character. It's a moment of honest self-reflection. Recognizing these feelings isn't a sign you're not good enough. Instead, it's a powerful step in understanding yourself better. It shows you what you value, what you hope for. Our hearts are complex, and that's okay. It's about accepting all parts of ourselves, even the quiet, sometimes messy ones. Finding that self-awareness is a true strength. When you say you're a quick thinker, do you ever feel like your mind is a lightning bolt? That you instantly get things, or have the perfect comeback ready, always first? It's a powerful feeling to think you're super quick, right? We often mix up speed with true understanding. Maybe we confuse a fast answer with a good answer. But here's the thing about being a quick thinker. It's not just about how fast your brain fires off an answer. It's also about what your brain does before it fires. What kind of connections it makes. Think about the wise people throughout history. Ancient thinkers, like those in old Greece, didn't always praise the fastest talkers. They often valued the ones who paused, the ones who let ideas settle, who asked deeper questions, even if it took a moment longer. They knew that true wisdom wasn't a race. It was a journey into truth. Here's an example. Imagine you're in English class. The teacher asks a question about a character's feelings. One student instantly shouts out an answer. It's quick, yes, but another student pauses. They think about the character's actions, their words, the whole story. Then, they offer an answer that is thoughtful, full of insight, and really makes everyone understand the character better. The first student was quick. The second student was truly thinking. Their answer might have taken a few more seconds, but it held so much more weight. It came from a deeper place. And that's why it matters. Sometimes, our fastest thoughts are just surface level. They're what we think we should say, or what we've heard before. Real quick thinking often means quickly connecting deep ideas, not just spitting out the first thing that comes to mind. It's the swiftness of insight, not just impulse. So, maybe the trait we think we own isn't about raw speed, or being the first to speak. Maybe it's about the deep, quiet work our minds do, even when we pause. It's about letting the truth settle and ripple through us, before we speak what we've truly found. Thinking, you're never selfish. Have you ever done something kind and felt like you were helping someone, with absolutely nothing in it for you? It's a good feeling, isn't it? We all want to be that person, always putting others first, giving freely without a second thought for ourselves. But here's the thing, our minds are tricky. We often believe we're acting from pure selflessness, yet deep down, there's usually a quiet whisper of benefit for us. This isn't about being bad, it's just how we're wired. When you help a friend study, you might feel good, proud you could help. That feeling, that's a small reward for you. For thousands of years, thinkers have wondered about this. Even ancient Greek philosophers debated if true selflessness was possible. They noticed that even when people seemed to give everything, there was often a hidden payoff. Maybe a good reputation, feeling proud, or just avoiding guilt. They saw it as part of our nature, a way our brains encourage good deeds by making us feel good. Imagine sharing your favorite bag of chips with a friend. You offer them some, saying, "Have as much as you want." On the surface, you're generous, but maybe a part of you also wants your friend to think you're kind, or perhaps you're hoping they'll share their candy with you later. It's a tiny connection, a small loop of give and take we often don't even realize is happening. So, here's what I found. Realizing a little self-interest might always mix with our kindness isn't a bad thing. It doesn't make your good deeds less meaningful. Instead, it helps us understand ourselves better. It shows that true generosity isn't about being perfectly selfless. It's about choosing to give, knowing even a small internal reward makes us human. And that's a beautiful, honest truth. Pretending you understand everything. Have you ever sat in class, maybe a science lesson or a history lecture, and found yourself nodding along, even though inside your brain felt like a tangled mess of wires? You look around, and everyone else seems to get it. So you just pretend. You let out a quiet "oh yeah" or a small smile, trying to look smart, trying to fit in. This is a common feeling, this idea that we should understand everything. And if we don't, something is wrong with us. But here's the thing, nobody understands everything. Not your teachers, not your parents, not even the smartest people in the world. For centuries, thinkers have talked about this. A very old philosopher named Socrates, from ancient Greece, famously said that true wisdom comes from knowing what you don't know. He meant that realizing you don't understand is actually the first step to truly learning. It takes real courage to admit that. Imagine you're trying to build a complex Lego castle, following instructions you don't quite grasp. You could just keep snapping pieces together, hoping for the best, and pretending you know what you're doing. But the castle will likely fall apart, right? It's much better to stop, reread, or even ask for help. Just like that Lego castle, true understanding is built piece by piece, not by pretending the pieces are, already there, that sometimes we pretend because we're scared of looking dumb or feeling out of place. It's a quiet, protective thing our minds do. But when we pretend, we close the door to real learning. We miss the chance to ask that important question, to truly dig in and make sense of something new. It takes a different kind of strength, a quiet bravery, to simply say, "I'm a little confused. Can you explain that again?" That moment of honest confusion is actually a powerful opening. It's where genuine wisdom begins to grow. The "I always finish what I start" claim. Have you ever said, "I always finish what I start"? It's a powerful idea, right? Like a secret promise, a sign of strength. We want to be seen as someone who doesn't quit. There's real value in persistence. Seeing things through, even when tough, teaches us so much. But is that claim always true? Deep down, think about it. Maybe you started a drawing, full of ideas, then left it half done. Or you picked up a book, loved the first chapters, but then it just sat forgotten. We all do this. It's not a weakness. It's simply human. Ancient thinkers understood this. They saw wisdom not just as willpower. Sometimes, true wisdom is knowing when to gracefully let go. They might say knowing when to stop is as important as knowing when to begin. It's not quitting. It's choosing a new path, or realizing this path isn't right for you now. Imagine building a Lego castle. You spend hours placing bricks. Then, a section isn't right, or you've lost excitement for that castle. It might feel like a failure to take it apart. But what if taking it apart lets you build something even cooler? Something that makes you happy? This isn't an excuse to quit everything. It's about being kind to your heart. It's about recognizing that life changes, and so do we. That "I always finish" claim can hold us back. Real strength often lies in listening to that quiet voice inside, the one that tells you what truly matters. It's giving yourself permission to change your mind, a gentle power that lets you grow, not be trapped by an old promise. Believing you're super open. Have you ever felt like you're really good at listening to new ideas? That you always keep an open mind, no matter what? It's a nice thought, isn't it? We all want to be that person, the one who understands everything and everyone. But here's the thing. Sometimes we think we're open-minded when deep down, our minds are actually pretty set. Our brains are amazing at keeping us safe. They like things to be familiar and predictable. So, when a new idea comes along that challenges what we already believe, our brains can put up a little wall. It's not on purpose. It's just how we're built. We might hear the words, but we're not truly letting the meaning sink in and change our minds. People have noticed this for a long, long time, even thousands of years ago. Smart thinkers realized how hard it is to truly see things from a different point of view, without our own thoughts getting in the way. Think about it like this. Imagine you're absolutely sure your favorite video game is the best one ever made. Your friend comes along and tries to explain why a different game is actually more fun, with better graphics and a deeper story. You nod. You even say, "Yeah, I get it." But inside, are you really letting go of your own opinion? Or are you just waiting for them to finish so you can explain, again, why your game is superior? That's not being truly open. You're just confirming what you already believe. It's not about being wrong. It's about being human. This little trick our brain plays is normal. The real openness, the kind that helps us grow, isn't about perfectly agreeing with everyone. It's about noticing that quiet wall in your mind. It's about taking a breath and truly wondering, what if there's more to this? What if their view holds a truth I haven't seen yet? That small moment of pause, that soft questioning, that's where real understanding slowly begins to bloom. The "I never care about drama" stanza. If you ever heard someone say, "Oh, I just don't do drama," it sounds really cool, right? Like they're above it all, calm and unbothered by everything chaotic around them. And a lot of times, we wish we could be that person, the one who just shrugs off every petty argument or rumor. But here's the thing, truly never caring about drama is probably one of those ideas we think we own, but maybe don't, not completely. The truth is, humans are naturally built for connection, and where there are people, there are emotions. Sometimes, those emotions crash into each other, causing tension or disagreements. It's very natural to notice when things get tense or unfair. Even ancient thinkers, long ago, understood this. They knew it's impossible for people to live separate from the emotional world around them. Our brains are actually wired to pay attention to social cues, to figure out what's happening in our groups, because that's how we've always stayed safe and connected. Think about it like this. Imagine dropping a pebble into a calm pond. Even if you didn't throw the pebble, those ripples still spread out. They might reach your boat, gently rocking it. You can't just wish the ripples away or pretend they don't exist. The drama might be a tiny pebble someone else threw, but the ripples of arguments, misunderstandings, or hurt feelings can still touch you. They can affect your friends, your family, or the mood of a place you care about. So, maybe the real power isn't in pretending we're unaffected. It's not about being a robot. Here's what I found. It's more about recognizing the ripples when they come, understanding why they're there, and then thoughtfully choosing how to respond. It's about not letting the ripples pull you under, but acknowledging they're a natural part of the pond. It's okay to feel things, even the uncomfortable ones. It's more powerful to learn to navigate those feelings and decide your own path than to simply say you don't have them at all. When you think you're a deep thinker, have you ever sat quietly, lost in your thoughts, feeling like you're digging into the real truths of the world? Sometimes we mistake having a lot of thoughts, or even worrying a lot, for deep thinking. It's easy to feel important when our minds are just busy. But here's the thing. True deep thinking isn't just about the number of thoughts. It's about going below the surface, like looking into clear water instead of a muddy puddle. Ancient thinkers, like Socrates, talked about knowing yourself. He meant truly understanding why you think what you think, why you feel what you feel. It's not about sounding smart. It's about seeing things clearly, asking why, until you get to the heart of something. Think about a scientist. They don't just stare at a problem and call it deep. They set up experiments, look at facts, and break down big questions into smaller parts. Or imagine you're trying to figure out why a friend is upset. Just guessing or making up complicated stories isn't deep. Really listening, watching their actions, and asking thoughtful questions, that's true understanding. It's like trying to understand a complex machine. You can assume it's deep, or you can open it up and learn how it works. So, when you feel like you're being a deep thinker, pause for a moment. Are you truly exploring, or are you just spinning your wheels? There's no rush. Sometimes, the deepest insights come from quiet observations, from simply being present and truly seeing what is, not just what you imagine. It's a journey of gentle curiosity, and that's why it matters. Saying you're always good at forgiving. Do you ever find yourself saying, "Oh, I always forgive people easily"? Sometimes we tell ourselves we're really good at letting things go. We might think it makes us look strong or kind, but is that always true? Deep down, forgiving isn't just saying the words out loud. It's a heavy, honest process that happens inside you. It means truly releasing the hurt, the anger, and the resentment, not just pretending it's all gone away. Think about how people have talked about forgiveness for thousands of years. From ancient philosophers to modern thinkers, they often said forgiveness was a powerful act. It wasn't just for the person who hurt you, but mostly for you. It frees your own spirit. Like the Roman philosopher Seneca once said, forgiveness is the best revenge. He didn't mean it in a mean way, but rather that letting go of anger truly frees you from its chains. It's not about forgetting what happened, but changing how you hold on to it. Many cultures speak of it as letting go of a heavy burden from your shoulders. Here's a way to think about it. Imagine you have a deep cut on your hand. You can put a band-aid on it and declare, "It's totally fine." But if you don't clean that cut properly, if you don't allow it time to heal, the wound is still there, beneath the surface. It might even get infected and cause more pain. Forgiveness is like truly cleaning that emotional wound, letting it breathe, and allowing your heart to mend itself. You can't just slap a mental band-aid on deep hurts and call them done. It takes time and real, honest work to stop the pain from festering. So, when we confidently say we're always good at forgiving, maybe we're just good at saying we are. Maybe we're trying to avoid the really hard work of truly healing, and that's okay. It's a huge, brave thing to do. It's an even bigger step to be honest with ourselves about whether we've truly done it. Being genuinely good at forgiving means understanding it's a long journey, not a quick stop. It means accepting that sometimes it takes a quiet, slow time for the heart to truly let go and find peace. Pretending you don't need much sleep. Have you ever found yourself saying, "Oh, I barely slept last night, but I'm totally fine"? Maybe you even feel a little bit proud when you say it. It's a common thing. This idea that needing less sleep makes you stronger or more dedicated. But here's the thing, deep down, when we say that, a part of us often feels worn out, stretched thin, and a little bit sad. For a long time, in many parts of history, People admired those who worked without rest. It seemed like a sign of toughness, of being able to push through anything. In today's world, with so much happening online and so many things to do, it can feel like if you're sleeping, you're missing out. You might even feel pressured to keep going, to always be on, just like everyone else seems to be. We pretend we don't need that quiet time, that deep pause. We tell ourselves it's a waste of time. Think about your phone or a video game console. If you never plug it in, never let it charge, what happens? It eventually stops working. Your brain and body are exactly like that. Sleep isn't just lying there doing nothing. It's when your brain sorts through all the thoughts and feelings from the day, cleaning up and getting ready for new ones. It's when your body repairs itself, growing stronger. When you skip out on sleep, it's like trying to run a marathon on an almost dead battery. You might manage for a bit, but you're probably going to feel foggy, forgetful, and easily annoyed. You might even feel a little bit disconnected from your own feelings. So, what does it truly mean when we pretend we don't need much sleep? Maybe it means we're scared to admit a basic human need. Maybe it means we're trying to impress others, or even trick ourselves into thinking we're tireless superheroes. But real strength isn't about ignoring what your body is screaming for. It's about listening to that quiet, persistent voice inside you that needs to rest, to heal, to simply be. Allowing yourself proper sleep isn't a weakness. It's an act of deep kindness to yourself, helping you face tomorrow with a clearer mind and a much calmer heart. The I can read people belief. Have you ever felt like you just knew what someone was thinking? Like you could look at a friend and instantly understand what was going on in their head? This belief that we can perfectly understand others is really common. We often spot a small gesture or a quiet look, and instantly feel like we've figured them out. But here's the thing. People are far more complicated than our quick judgments allow. Their inner worlds are vast and often hidden. Long ago, thinkers like the ancient Greek philosophers wondered about this. They talked about how hard it is to truly know ourselves, let alone someone else. Socrates, a famous Greek philosopher, simply said, "Know thyself." He knew understanding others was a huge challenge. He felt we often project our own ideas onto people, seeing what we expect. This isn't new. People have struggled with this mystery for thousands of years. We want to understand, but sometimes our brains fill in the blanks too quickly, creating stories without all the facts. Think about texting a friend. Sometimes, a text can sound angry or sad, but they meant it totally differently. Maybe they used a period instead of an exclamation mark, making their words feel cold. Or perhaps someone in class looks quiet and serious. You might think they're upset with you, but what if they just had a bad night's sleep, or are thinking hard about a math problem? Their inside world is still their own private space. It's like looking at a book's cover and thinking you know the whole story. We only ever get small pieces. It's a kind thing to want to connect and understand others deeply, and sometimes we do get very close. But real understanding also means quietly accepting that we don't always know everything. It means being open to asking questions, listening, and admitting that what we see on the outside isn't always the full truth of someone's heart or mind. There's a deep, quiet respect in that. It leaves room for wonder, for people to simply be themselves, full of their mysteries. Thinking you're super charismatic. Do you ever feel like you're the one who lights up a room? Like your words just connect with everyone, making them laugh, making them feel seen? We often feel we have amazing charm, a power to draw people in. It's a wonderful feeling, right? To believe you're super charismatic. But here's the thing. Sometimes, what we feel inside about our own charm doesn't quite match how others experience us. Charisma isn't just about being loud or popular. It's a deeper, real connection. It touches hearts, makes others feel understood. Sometimes, we mistake our excitement, our strong desire to connect, for that genuine pull on others. We project our belief in our charm, hoping it sticks. People have thought about this for a long time. Even ancient thinkers knew how tricky it is to truly know yourself, to see yourself clearly. They called it knowing thyself, and it's still a hard puzzle. It's hard to step outside our heads and see ourselves through someone else's eyes. Think about it like this. You might tell a story you think is hilarious, full of energy and big gestures. In your head, everyone's roaring with laughter, totally into it. But maybe, some are smiling politely, confused, or even a bit uncomfortable. It's like thinking everyone notices your new shoes the moment you walk in. They might just be busy with their own thoughts. We shine a bright spotlight on ourselves, believing everyone sees it, but they might not. Real connection isn't a performance. It's a shared moment. True charisma, the kind that lasts, isn't about how we feel when we're talking. It's about how others feel when they listen to us and when we listen to them. It's a gentle energy, born from seeing and hearing people, not just from wanting to be seen and heard. Maybe it's less about being the star, and more about creating a warm, inviting space for everyone to just be themselves. Believing you're always prepared. Have you ever felt completely ready for something, like a big test or a presentation, only to find yourself a little lost once it started? It's that feeling, that deep belief, that you've got everything covered, that nothing can surprise you. We often think we're ready for anything. We plan, we practice, and that's good. But sometimes this strong belief in our readiness hides a blind spot. It can stop us from seeing what we don't know, or what could still go wrong. It's not about being bad at preparing. It's about the feeling itself becoming a kind of shield, sometimes blocking out reality. Even ancient thinkers, like Socrates, talked about knowing yourself. He said the wisest person knows how much they don't know. He wasn't saying don't prepare. He was saying, don't just assume you're fully ready because it feels good. Always be curious. Think about a big science project. You spent hours on it, felt totally prepared. But then, a classmate asked a question you hadn't even thought of. A simple question, but it showed a small gap. Or maybe the computer decided not to work. You believed. You were ready for anything about the topic, but not for the unexpected things that happen in real life. That moment can feel a bit like a tiny crack in your confidence. Our certainty of being prepared sometimes closes our eyes to what's still unseen. So this isn't about always doubting ourselves. It's about a quiet openness, acknowledging that the world is always moving, always changing. Maybe true readiness isn't about having all the answers, but about being ready to learn when new questions pop up. It's about holding our sense of preparedness gently, making space for new information. This helps us grow, staying curious and adaptable, even when things don't go exactly as planned. The I never procrastinate lie. Have you ever told yourself you're someone who just gets things done? That you never, ever put off what needs doing until the last minute? It's a nice thought, isn't it? But here's the thing. For most of us, that I never procrastinate idea is a quiet whisper, a comforting story we tell ourselves. Even when our actions show something different, procrastination isn't always about being lazy. It's often about avoiding a feeling. Maybe it's the fear of failure, or the worry of not doing something perfectly. Sometimes it's just the discomfort of starting a boring task. We push the task away, not because we don't care, but because a part of us wants to avoid that difficult emotion right now. Even thinkers from ancient Greece, like Aristotle, noticed this human habit. He called it akrasia, a kind of weakness of will, where we know what's good for us but don't do it anyway. It's an old part of being human. Don't think about that big history project due next week. You tell yourself you'll start early, but then you find yourself cleaning your room, which you never do, scrolling through videos, or suddenly needing to organize your sock drawer. It's not that you're truly busy. It's that facing the blank page or the research feels overwhelming, or maybe just plain boring. So, your mind finds other, easier things to do instead, giving you a temporary sense of control, a brief escape from the upcoming challenge. And that's why it matters to understand this. If we pretend we never procrastinate, we miss a chance to look deeper. Maybe we can be a little kinder to ourselves when we notice it happening. Instead of judging ourselves harshly, we can ask, what feeling am I trying to avoid right now? Understanding this isn't about giving up. It's about seeing ourselves with more honesty, and maybe, just maybe, finding a gentler way forward. It's a quiet wisdom, learning to accept that sometimes the hardest parts of being human are also the most common. When you say you're a great advisor, have you ever quickly told a friend what they should do, or felt like you just knew the answer to someone else's problem? It's easy to believe we're good at giving advice. We feel smart, helpful, maybe even a little powerful when we offer a solution. But here's the thing. Truly being a great advisor isn't just about having answers. It's about something much deeper. It's a quiet challenge, really. We often jump in with our thoughts because we want to fix things. We want to be the hero. But often, the person talking to us isn't looking for a quick fix. They might just need someone to listen, truly listen, without judgment. Ancient wisdom from different parts of the world often reminds us that the best advice comes from understanding, not just speaking. Think about it like this. A truly wise person knows how much they don't know. They approach problems with a calm curiosity, not an immediate solution. Imagine your friend is upset because they didn't get picked for a team. You might instantly say, just practice harder, or that team isn't even that good. But a truly helpful advisor would pause. They'd ask, how do you feel about that? What's really bothering you? They'd hear the hurt behind the words, the disappointment that runs deeper than just not making the team. They wouldn't tell you what to do, but help you figure out why you feel that way, and what you might want to do next. It's like a doctor who listens to all your symptoms before suggesting medicine, not just guessing. So, when we say we're great advisors, maybe we should first ask ourselves, am I really listening? Am I seeing beyond the surface? True help comes from connecting with another person's heart and mind, not from just handing out instructions. It's about offering presence, not just solutions. And sometimes, that quiet, understanding presence is the most powerful advice of all. Thinking you're never affected by criticism. Do you ever tell yourself that negative words just bounce right off you? That no matter what someone says, it can't actually reach you, can't make you feel anything? It's a powerful thought, isn't it? To imagine you're so strong, so untouchable, that nothing anyone says can truly touch your heart. And maybe, on the surface, you don't react. You might even laugh it off, or pretend you didn't hear. But here's the thing, human hearts are a bit like the ocean. Even if the surface looks calm, even if there are no big waves, there are always currents moving deep down. For centuries, wise people, like the old Greek philosophers called Stoics, understood this. They knew we can't always control what others say, but we can try to control how we react inside. Still, they also knew that feelings are part of being human. They didn't say don't feel, but rather understand what you feel. Think about a small pebble dropped into a still pond. You might not see big waves right away, but if you watch closely, tiny ripples spread out, long after the pebble has vanished below the surface. A critical comment, even a small one, can be like that pebble. You might not show a big splash on your face, but inside, a tiny ripple starts. It might be a small doubt, a moment of sadness, or even a flicker of anger. These little ripples can sit there, sometimes for a while, just under the surface of your calm. Pretending we're never affected doesn't make the ripples disappear. Instead, it can make them feel bigger, because we're trying to hide them, even from ourselves. It's okay to feel that little sting, that small ripple. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human, you're open, and you care, and that's actually a strength. Understanding this can help us be more gentle with ourselves when those words land, and maybe even more understanding of others too. Pretending you're good at saving money. Do you ever catch yourself saying, "Oh, I'm great at saving money," and then, later, you wonder where all your cash went? Here's the thing. It's easy to think we're good at something, even when the quiet evidence whispers something else. When it comes to saving, this often looks like telling ourselves small spending doesn't truly count. We might buy that snack every day, or pick up a cool pen we don't really need, thinking it's only a few dollars. But those few dollars add up, little by little, bit by bit. This isn't a new idea. This struggle with wanting things now instead of later. Thinkers for hundreds of years have noticed how we often choose small, instant rewards over bigger, future benefits. It's like a tiny, constant stream of water. You see a small drip from a faucet, and you think, that's nothing. But if you leave it running, all day, all week, all year, that little drip can fill a whole bathtub, or even a swimming pool. Each small purchase is a drip. We pretend the drips don't matter, but they do, slowly emptying our imagined savings. It's not about being bad or wrong. It's just about being human. We all love the feeling of getting something new, even something small. But here's what I found. Being truly good at saving isn't just about putting money in a jar. It's about gently looking at our own choices, without judgment or shame. It's about noticing those little drips and understanding what they mean for our future. And that's why it matters. Because when we're honest with ourselves about our habits, that's when real change can begin. It's a quiet truth that can set us free to make better choices. Not because we have to, but because we understand ourselves a little more deeply. The I always stick up for people thought. Have you ever believed deep down that you're the kind of person who always steps in, who always speaks up when someone needs help? It's a powerful feeling, isn't it? Like a core part of who you are. You picture yourself as brave, as someone who wouldn't stand by. You see yourself as a defender, a protector for those who might feel small or scared. And that feeling, it makes you feel good about yourself, like you hold strong values. But here's the thing. Our thoughts about ourselves can sometimes be like a warm, comforting blanket. We want to be the hero in our own story, and we tell ourselves we are. For hundreds of years, thinkers have wondered about what makes us truly good people. They talked about virtue, not just wishing for goodness, but doing good. It's easy to imagine ourselves as fearless. It's much harder to actually be that person when the moment really comes. Think about this. You're walking down the hall, and you see someone being picked on, maybe left out. In your mind, you're already walking over, ready to say something strong and clear. But then, your feet feel heavy, your mouth feels dry, a knot forms in your stomach. You look away, hoping someone else will do it. Or maybe you just walk by, telling yourself it's not your business, or that you don't want to get involved. This doesn't make you a bad person. It just shows how truly difficult it is to act on our best intentions when things get real. It asks us to look closely, not at who we wish we were, but at who we actually are in those tough, quiet moments. And maybe, just maybe, understanding that little gap between what we think and what we do is the first step toward truly becoming the person who truly does stick up for others. It's a journey of quiet courage. Believing you're super observant, do you ever feel like you notice everything? Like you're always picking up on small changes others miss? It's a cool feeling, like having a superpower. We often believe we're incredibly sharp, seeing the world with perfect clarity, like a Super HD camera. But here's the thing, our brains work a bit differently. For a long time, people have wondered about how much we truly see. Even ancient thinkers knew our eyes could sometimes play tricks. It's not that we're trying to ignore things, it's that our brain constantly decides what's important and what's not. It fills in gaps, makes assumptions, and often only shows us what it expects to see or what it needs to focus on. This isn't a flaw, it's how our brain helps us make sense of a really busy world. Imagine if you noticed every dust particle, every faint sound, every change in light. It would be overwhelming. There's a famous experiment that shows this perfectly. Researchers asked people to watch a video of students passing a basketball. They were told to count the passes. Most people were really focused on counting. But here's what happened. Right in the middle of the video, someone in a full gorilla costume walked through the game, stopped, beat their chest, and walked off. Many people completely missed the gorilla. They were so focused on the ball, their brains filtered out something incredibly obvious. So maybe we aren't super observant in the way we imagine, and that's okay. This isn't about being bad at seeing things. It's about understanding how our amazing brains work. They are constantly trying to help us, even if it means sometimes missing a gorilla. It reminds us that what we think we know, or what we think we see, might just be a small part of a much bigger, richer picture. And maybe, being truly observant is about being open to seeing what we didn't expect, and being kind to ourselves when we miss things. The "I never get embarrassed" idea. Have you ever heard someone say, "I never get embarrassed"? Maybe you've even thought it yourself. It sounds powerful, like being totally unshakable, like nothing can make you blush or stumble. But here's the thing, this idea that we're immune to feeling awkward might be a trait we think we own, but don't. Embarrassment isn't just blushing, it's that sudden wave of heat, your heart racing, the wish the floor would swallow you. It's a deeply human response. Long ago, some thinkers, like the ancient Stoics, taught that showing strong emotion, even embarrassment, meant you weren't fully in control. They thought a wise person stayed calm, untouched by such feelings. This idea has echoed, making us sometimes feel like we shouldn't feel embarrassed, that it's a weakness. So, we learn to hide it, or even deny it to ourselves. Here's an example. Imagine you're giving a presentation in class, and you suddenly forget your words. Your mind goes blank. You feel your cheeks burn, even if you laugh it off, saying, "Oops, lost my place," and act like it's fine. That jolt of awkwardness, that quiet wish to rewind time, it was still there. It's like a tiny, quick electric current. Denying the embarrassment doesn't make that current disappear. It just means you're building a thicker skin around it. So, maybe the person who says they never get embarrassed isn't truly free of the feeling. They might be really good at hiding it or pushing it away so fast they don't quite register it, and that's okay. But perhaps real strength isn't about never feeling embarrassed. Maybe it's about understanding that moment, recognizing that flash of humanity. It connects you to everyone else who has ever wished for a silent teleportation device. It reminds us we are all trying, all learning, and all capable of those little, raw moments that make us wonderfully, imperfectly human. When you think you're a great compromiser, have you ever walked away from a disagreement feeling a little hollow, like you solved things, but at what cost? We often tell ourselves we're great compromisers. We think it means always being the one who gives in, the one who says, whatever you want, just to keep the peace. But is that truly compromise, or is it something else entirely? True compromise isn't one person bending until they break. It's about two different ideas, two different desires, meeting somewhere in the middle. Think of it like two rivers flowing together. They don't just disappear into one another. Instead, they join, creating a new, wider river that holds both currents. This idea of finding a fair middle ground where everyone gives a little to get a little has been around for ages. Ancient thinkers knew that for any group to work, from a small family to a whole city, people needed to truly find ways to share, not just surrender. It's about crafting a solution that respects everyone's voice. Imagine you and a friend are trying to pick a snack. You really want chips, and they really want fruit. A great compromiser, who isn't really compromising, might just say, "Fine, let's get fruit," even if they're craving chips. They might feel good for being easygoing, but inside, they're probably a little disappointed. A true compromise would be sharing both, or getting chips today and fruit tomorrow, or finding a third snack you both mildly like. It means both of you change your initial plan a little bit. It shows that your friend's wish matters, but so does yours. This isn't about always getting your way. It's about making sure your voice is heard, even if the final decision isn't exactly what you pictured. It's about understanding that your feelings and needs have value, and that real peace comes when everyone feels respected, not just when arguments are avoided. A true compromiser knows their own worth while honoring the worth of others, building bridges where everyone can stand. Saying you're always punctual. Have you ever caught yourself saying, "Oh, I'm always on time"? It sounds good, doesn't it? We often want to believe it, but the word always is a heavy one. It means every single time, without a single mistake, ever. And deep down, a tiny part of us knows that's a really tough promise to keep, not just to others, but to ourselves. But most of history, time wasn't so strict. People lived by the sun's rhythm, the turning of seasons. Punctuality, down to the minute, is a newer idea, born with clocks and strict schedules. This creates a quiet pressure to be perfectly precise, almost like we're fighting life's natural flow. We forget that a minute here or there is part of being human. Think of it like a perfectly smooth stone. We want to believe it's always without a single scratch or bump, but even the best polished stone might have a tiny flaw, a mark from its journey. That doesn't make it less beautiful or less strong. You might plan to be at a friend's house by 3 p.m. You leave early, but a sudden stoplight or a forgotten backpack adds a minute. Does that single minute erase your overall effort to be on time? No, but it gently reminds us that perfect always is a really hard target to hit. So, when we say "I'm always punctual," maybe it's not a lie. Maybe it's a hope, a deep desire to be dependable. But here's the quiet truth. It's okay to admit we sometimes fall short. It's human. Understanding that true punctuality is a constant effort, not a fixed state, actually makes us more mindful. It's about being honest with ourselves, embracing our efforts, and finding peace in the imperfect rhythm of life. We aim for the ideal, but we live in the real, wonderful, slightly late world. Pretending you don't care about grades. Have you ever told yourself, or maybe someone else, that you just don't care about your grades? It's like a secret shield we put up. We act all cool, like a low score won't sting, or an A is just whatever. But deep down, for many of us, it matters a lot. Here's the thing. Sometimes, saying you don't care is actually a way of caring too much. It's an old human trick. Think about it. Long ago, thinkers like the Stoics, people who studied how to live a good life, talked about trying not to get too attached to things outside our control. But even they knew it was hard. This feeling of pretending not to care, it comes from a deep place inside us. It's a defense mechanism, a way our mind tries to protect our heart. If we pretend we didn't try, or that the outcome doesn't matter, then failure doesn't hurt as much. And if we succeed, well, we can act like it was easy all along. Imagine you've been practicing a tricky skateboard trick for weeks, falling over and over. You finally land it perfectly. But when your friend asks how you did it, you just shrugged and say, "Oh, it was nothing, just messed around." You don't want them to see all the effort, the falls, the fear of not getting it right. You don't want them to see how much you wanted to land that trick. That's a lot like pretending about grades. We don't want to show how much we hope, how much we work, or how much it might hurt if things don't go our way. It's easier to pretend to be an ice sculpture than to show you're actually a warm, beating heart. But here's what I found. Letting yourself care, really care, is a powerful thing. It means you're brave enough to try, brave enough to fail, and brave enough to feel. And that's why it matters. Being honest with yourself, even about the things that make you feel a little vulnerable, is a kind of strength that no pretended indifference can ever match. It means you're truly present in your own life, ready to learn, and ready to grow, no matter what. Though I'm always honest with myself trait. Have you ever really stopped to think if you truly tell yourself the whole truth, all the time? It feels good to say, oh, I'm totally honest with myself. But here's the thing. It's one of the hardest truths to live by. This trait isn't about being honest with others. It's about what happens in the quiet space inside your head, when no one else is listening. It's about seeing your own feelings, your own mistakes, your own reasons for doing things, without making excuses or pretending. For thousands of years, wise people have talked about this. A very old Greek philosopher named Socrates famously said, "Know thyself." He wasn't just talking about knowing your name or your favorite color. He meant understanding your deepest thoughts, your true motives, even the parts of yourself that are a little messy or uncomfortable. It's about facing those parts, and that's way harder than it sounds. Think about it like this. Imagine you have a tiny crack in your phone screen. You might try to ignore it, or tell yourself it's not a big deal. You might even put a sticker over it so you don't have to see it. But the crack is still there, right? Being truly honest with yourself is like taking off the sticker and really looking at that crack. It's acknowledging the small imperfections, the times you might have been unfair, or the real reason you felt sad. Maybe you're mad at a friend, but you tell yourself you're just tired. Or you failed a quiz, but you blame the questions, not the fact that you didn't study. Our minds are good at creating these little stories to protect us. It takes courage to look at those stories and ask, is that really true? It's not about being harsh or judging yourself. It's about a quiet curiosity, a gentle seeking of what's real inside you. It's understanding that knowing the full truth, even the uncomfortable bits, is the first step toward real growth. It's a lifelong journey, always getting a little closer to seeing yourself with clearer eyes. Thinking you're super resilient. Have you ever told yourself, I'm fine, I can handle it, even when things felt really hard? That feeling, like you'll just bounce right back, stronger than before. We admire people who shake off difficulties instantly. We tell ourselves we're just like them, built to withstand anything, to never truly break. But here's the thing. Thinking you're super resilient can sometimes trick your mind. It might make you push down hurt, ignore exhaustion, or avoid asking for help. It's not about being unbreakable. It's about acknowledging the cracks, learning from them, not pretending they don't exist. True resilience means feeling the weight of tough times, then finding your way forward, not just pretending the weight isn't there. For a long time, cultures like the ancient Greek Stoics valued an unwavering spirit. They believed a calm mind could overcome anything, teaching people to endure without showing weakness. This idea of always toughing it out has a powerful history. But there's a difference between truly enduring and just denying what you feel. Think about a strong, ancient oak tree. It stands tall through storms, bending with fierce winds. But even that oak needs deep roots, rich soil, and quiet time to heal after winter. It doesn't pretend the storm never happened. It regrows its leaves in spring, drawing strength from what it survived. We are like that tree. We can face hard times, but we also need our roots, our friends, family, self-care and time to recover. So, maybe true resilience isn't about never feeling broken. It's knowing it's okay to feel overwhelmed sometimes. It's understanding that real strength isn't just about enduring silently. It's about allowing yourself to feel deeply, asking for care when you need it, and knowing recovery takes time. That's a quieter, more honest kind of power. Believing you're always rational. Do you ever truly believe that every decision you make, every thought you have, comes from pure, cold logic, like a super smart computer, always weighing the facts perfectly? It's a nice idea, thinking we're always so rational. We like to imagine our minds are like perfectly balanced scales, always tipping towards the absolute best, most sensible choice. We tell ourselves we're smart, thinking things through. But here's the thing, often we're not. And that's not a failure, but just how being human works. Rational thinking means making choices based on reason, facts, and careful consideration, not just on feelings or quick impulses. It's about stepping back, looking at the situation calmly. For thousands of years, people have wondered about this. Ancient Greek thinkers, wise people like Plato, used to talk about how our souls had different parts, one part that sought reason, and other parts that felt desires or strong emotions. They knew that these parts were always in a kind of gentle tug-of-war. They understood that just because we think we're being logical, it doesn't always mean we are. Our feelings, our hopes, our fears, they all whisper in our ears, influencing what we decide, sometimes without us even noticing. Think about this. Imagine you really want a new video game. You might spend a long time convincing yourself it's a good investment. You tell yourself it'll improve your reflexes or help you connect with friends online. You might even make a whole list of pros. But if you're truly honest, the main reason is often just pure desire. You want to play it. You're excited by it. That feeling is what's truly driving your logic, making you find reasons to support what you already want. It's not a bad thing. It's just how our minds work, trying to make sense of our feelings by wrapping them in logic. So accepting that we aren't always perfectly rational isn't a weakness at all. It's actually a deep strength, a step toward knowing ourselves. It means we understand our own inner workings a little better, and maybe even understand others more kindly when their choices seem illogical. It helps us see that our minds are wonderfully complex, a beautiful, messy mix of logic and emotion, always learning, always growing, and that's not just okay. It's part of what makes us us. The I don't fall for tricks mindset. Do you ever feel like you can spot a lie a mile away? Like nobody can really pull one over on you? Most of us have a little voice in our head that whispers, "I'm too smart for that. I don't fall for tricks." It's a really comforting thought, right? To believe we're always sharp, always aware, never easily fooled. But here's the thing. Sometimes, that very belief is the trickiest one of all. We think we possess this superpower of seeing through everything, of being completely immune to persuasion or misdirection. And because we think we have it, we sometimes stop looking so closely. For a long, long time, people have talked about how easily our minds can be swayed. Way back, ancient Greek thinkers wondered if we truly know reality, or if our own minds play tricks on us. They understood that what we believe to be true can sometimes feel more real than actual facts. It's not about being dumb, it's simply about being human. Think about a magician. We know a magic trick isn't real. We know there's a secret. But even knowing that, our eyes and minds get completely fooled. We might watch the trick again and again, totally convinced we'll catch the sneaky move this time, only to be amazed all over again. It's similar in daily life. Maybe you see an ad online that promises something incredible for very little money. Your brain might quickly say, too good to be true. But if it's something you really want, a part of you might start to ignore those warning bells. You might convince yourself, this is different. I'm smart enough to tell if this is real. Even when many signs point to it being a scam, we often want to believe we're good at something, like spotting fakes, and that desire can make us miss the obvious. So maybe the real strength isn't in never being tricked, because that's almost impossible. Maybe it's in being humble enough to admit when we might be, or when we were fooled. It's about staying curious, about questioning things, even our own strong beliefs, because the moment we truly believe we can't be tricked, that's often when we're the most open to it. And that's okay. It's part of learning and growing, understanding how our own minds work, not just the world around us. When you say you're good at keeping secrets, have you ever told a friend something super important, a real secret, and just knew they would keep it safe? Or maybe you've been the one promising to keep quiet, feeling that heavy weight of someone's trust in your hands. It's a powerful feeling, telling yourself, I'm good at this, I can lock this away. But here's the thing. Sometimes, we might not be as good at it as we think. The idea of secrets is old, really old. Thinkers from long, long ago understood that what we share and what we hold back shapes who we are. They knew secrets could build strong friendships, or they could shatter them into tiny pieces. It wasn't just about not telling something. It was about understanding the deep trust that comes with knowing a hidden truth. That trust is fragile, like a delicate glass you're holding. And that's where it gets tricky. We tell ourselves we're a vault, strong and but often, our minds work in funny ways. Imagine a tiny crack in that glass. You might not see it at first, but with every little knock or stress, it grows. A secret can be like that crack. It sits inside us, a small weight. Then, maybe in a moment of stress, or just talking without thinking, a tiny detail slips out. It could be a half smile when someone mentions the topic, a quick glance, or a sentence that starts, "I probably shouldn't say this, but ... It's not always a big, dramatic reveal. Sometimes, it's just a tiny drip, like a faucet you thought was fully turned off. So, when you say you're good at keeping secrets, maybe it's less about being a perfect, unbreakable safe. Perhaps it's more about being honest with yourself. It's about truly understanding the deep impact of what someone has shared with you. It's about guarding not just the information, but the very trust itself. Sometimes, the kindest secret isn't even one you keep, but one you're wise enough never to ask for in the first place. It reminds us that our words and our silence carry a lot more power than we often realize. Thinking you're never manipulative, have you ever stopped to think about how much we try to get what we want, and how we sometimes make others do things, or think things, without them fully realizing it? Most of us like to believe we're always upfront, always honest. We definitely don't want to be the person who tricks others. Here's the thing though, almost everyone, at some point, uses influence to get their way. We just don't always call it manipulation. For a long time, people have noticed how we influence each other. Even ancient thinkers knew that words and actions have power. They saw how we try to persuade, sometimes with logic, sometimes by appealing to feelings. It's not always a dark, evil plot. Often, it's just wanting something badly. Think about trying to convince your parents to let you stay up later. You might not just ask directly. Maybe you say, "But I finished all my homework," or "I promise I'll get up early tomorrow." And you say it with a really earnest voice, looking them right in the eye. You're trying to gently steer their decision. Or maybe you tell a friend, "This movie is way better than the one you picked. Everyone says so." Even if you just really want to watch your choice, you're subtly pushing them, making your options seem more popular. It's a tricky feeling, realizing we might do this. It's hard to look at ourselves and see these small moments of subtle influence. We don't mean to be mean, we just have desires, and we learn, often without thinking, how to guide situations. But understanding these pushes can make us more honest. It helps us build stronger relationships. When we see how easily we can sway others, we can also choose to be more direct, more transparent. We can choose to ask, openly, instead of subtly leading, and that's a powerful, kind choice. Pretending you're a natural leader. Have you ever seen someone try really hard to be in charge, but it just feels off, like they're acting out a part, rather than truly leading? It's a common feeling, this idea that we should be the one taking the lead, speaking the loudest. We might believe that being a leader means always having the answers, always being the boss. But sometimes, when we force that role, it becomes less about guiding others and more about proving something. Think about it. Long ago, wise thinkers like the ancient Greeks wondered what made a truly good leader. They talked about courage, fairness, and understanding people. They knew it wasn't just about someone standing up and shouting orders. It was about earning trust, inspiring others, and having a clear vision that helped everyone. A real leader doesn't just demand respect. They earn it through actions, listening, and caring for the group. It's a bit like a ship's captain. A true captain doesn't just stand on the deck yelling. They understand the ocean, know the ship, listen to their crew, and make choices based on deep knowledge and experience. Someone just pretending to be a captain might sound confident, but they wouldn't know how to steer through a storm or fix an engine. They might look the part, but the ship would still drift. And that's the thing about pretending. It eventually shows. So, maybe the real question isn't about how loudly we speak, or how many people we tell what to do. Maybe it's about how deeply we understand, how honestly we connect, and how much we genuinely want to help things move forward. True leadership often blossoms quietly, from genuine purpose, not from a desire to simply be seen in charge. It's a feeling, a quiet strength that draws others in, not a performance. That quiet strength, it's a trait we can all truly own. The "I always stand up for myself" trait. Do you ever truly believe you're someone who always stands up for yourself? It's a powerful thought, isn't it? To imagine a version of yourself who never lets anyone push them around, always having the perfect comeback. We often picture it as a loud, fearless moment, maybe even a confrontation. But here's the thing. Truly standing up for yourself isn't always about winning an argument or having the last word. Sometimes, it's a silent strength. It's about knowing your limits, understanding what feels right and wrong deep inside. It's about honoring that inner voice, even when it's just a whisper. Long ago, wise thinkers like the Greek philosopher Socrates talked about knowing yourself. He believed understanding who you are, your true self, was the most important journey. This idea connects directly to standing up for yourself. It's hard to defend something you don't truly understand or believe in. When you know your worth, you don't need to prove it to others. You just know it. Think of a tree. It stands tall, rooted deeply. It bends in the wind but doesn't break. Its roots hold it firm. It doesn't shout at the storm. It simply holds its ground. For you, this might look like friends wanting to do something not right, or that makes you uncomfortable. Perhaps everyone laughs at a mean joke, and you choose not to join in. You don't have to yell or make a big scene. Simply choosing not to participate, or calmly saying no, thanks, is powerful. It's protecting your own values, your own peace. So, maybe I always stand up for myself isn't about always being ready for a fight. Perhaps it's about being deeply aware of who you are. It's about having the quiet courage to protect that person, even when nobody else is watching. It's a continuous journey of self-respect, built on small, brave choices every day. It's knowing your own worth and living by it, gently but firmly. Believing you're super resourceful. Have you ever felt like you're the person who can always find a way? It's that deep feeling, like you're a human Swiss Army knife. You believe you have all the tools and answers. You think you can solve any problem, fix any mess, or a brilliant plan. That's a comforting feeling, right? But sometimes, we really want to be that person. So much we start to believe we are, even when real proof isn't there. Long ago, smart thinkers talked about knowing yourself. They meant understanding your strengths and weaknesses. Confidence is great, but true strength often comes from knowing when you need help, or to learn new things. Thinking you're always resourceful, no matter the challenge, can actually stop you from becoming more resourceful. It closes the door to learning and growing. Think about a big group project for school. Maybe you truly believe, I'm super creative, I can design the whole presentation myself. You feel you have all the best ideas, but then, you might hit a wall. You realize you need someone good at research, or someone organized for deadlines. You're not creative. But believing you have all the resources can make you miss the help others bring, or new skills you could learn by asking. And that's okay. It's more honest. Real resourcefulness isn't about having an answer for everything already. It's about being open to finding answers, asking good questions, learning, and trying new ways when your first idea doesn't quite work. It's about knowing your limits so you can push past them, not just pretend they don't exist. This is a quieter, deeper strength, built on curiosity and a humble willingness to grow. The "I'm always in control" feeling. Have you ever really felt like you're completely in charge? Like every single step you take, every choice you make, is all yours, and you know just what's coming next? It's a comforting thought, isn't it? This feeling that we are the captains of our own ship, sailing exactly where we want to go. We like to think we're making all the big decisions, guiding our own lives, and planning out every single detail. But here's the thing, that feeling of always being in control, it's often more of a wish than a reality. It's a powerful human desire to feel safe and secure, to believe we can predict and manage everything around us. For thousands of years, people have wrestled with this idea. Some wise people long ago, like certain ancient Greek thinkers, talked about how so much of life is actually beyond our grasp. They realized that while we can choose how we react, we often can't choose what happens to us. Think about planning a perfect day. You've got your whole morning set, wake up, quick breakfast, grab your backpack, head out to meet friends, but then, you wake up late, or your phone alarm didn't go off. Maybe the bus is delayed, or it starts raining really hard out of nowhere. Suddenly, your carefully planned morning is all messed up. You didn't choose for those things to happen, they just did, and that's a small example. But it shows us something big. Life is full of these unexpected moments, like waves crashing onto a shore. We can build sandcastles, we can stand firm, but we can't stop the tide from coming in. Understanding this isn't about giving up or feeling helpless. It's actually about finding a different kind of strength. It's about learning to breathe, to adapt, and to find peace in knowing that not everything needs to be, or even can be under our command. Sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do is simply to accept what is, and then decide how we will move forward, even when the path changes. When you think you're a master of disguised emotions, have you ever tried hard to hide how you feel? Maybe you were upset, but you put on a brave face, a fake smile, and said, "I'm fine." You probably thought no one could tell what was truly going on inside you. Right. Here's the thing. We often believe we're amazing actors with our emotions. We think we can hide sadness behind cheerfulness, or anger behind quietness. But feelings are powerful. They don't just stay tucked away. Your body speaks even when your mouth is silent. A slight tremor in your voice, your eyes looking away, stiffness in your shoulders. These are tiny whispers of what you're truly feeling. For hundreds of years, people have noticed this. Ancient thinkers wondered about the link between our inner world and our outer self. They knew true feelings often surface, no matter how much we try to hold them down. It's like our deepest emotions have a language everyone instinctively understands. Think about a time you've been stressed about a test. You might tell friends, "Nah, I'm totally calm," but maybe you're tapping your foot without realizing it, or your voice is a little higher. Or consider a loyal pet, like a dog. You can try to act happy for them, but if you're truly sad, they often sense it. They pick up on your energy, your subtle cues. They don't need words to know your heart is heavy. So, maybe being a master of disguise isn't truly possible, and perhaps that's okay. What if we accepted that our feelings are a part of us, and sometimes they just show up? It might be a relief to know that being a little transparent helps others understand us, helps us feel less alone. Being real, with all our emotions, is a true form of strength. Saying you're always calm under pressure. Have you ever told yourself, "I'm always calm, no matter what"? It's a powerful thought. We imagine ourselves as steady anchors, unshaken by life's storms. It feels strong, but true calm isn't about never feeling a ripple. What if it's something deeper, more human, than just stopping your feelings? Think about moments when something important happens, a big presentation, a tough talk. Does your body stay still inside? Your heart races. Palms sweat. Are not tightens. These aren't failures of calm. They are natural human reactions. Ancient thinkers like the Stoics knew we can't stop first feelings, but we can choose how to respond. Consider a majestic old tree in a hurricane. Does it stay perfectly still? No. Its branches sway wildly, bending with incredible force. It feels the wind and rain, but its roots hold deep. The tree experiences the storm, yet stays rooted. Its strength isn't in resisting, but in its ability to bend, endure, and stand firm. We are much like that tree. Calm under pressure isn't about having an unfeeling heart. It's about letting pressure hit, acknowledging nervousness or fear. It's about feeling your heart pound, yet still choosing to focus, breathe, and act thoughtfully despite the commotion. It's quiet courage to feel scared and still speak your truth. So the trait isn't always calm, but quiet resilience. It's a gentle understanding that it's okay for our insides to feel a little wild. True calm might be less about what we are all the time, and more about what we practice when the world demands our authentic strength. It's a quiet journey of learning to be present, breathe through challenges, and find our center again. Pretending you don't need approval. Have you ever acted like you just don't care what anyone thinks? Like you're totally above needing a compliment or someone's nod of approval? It's a common act. This idea that we're completely self-sufficient, a lone island in a sea of opinions. But here's the thing. Deep down, most of us yearn for connection, for someone to see us and say, "You're good. You belong." For thousands of years, people have known this. Even really old thinkers, like the ancient Greek philosophers, understood that humans are social. They knew we were made to live together, to share our lives, to feel a part of something bigger. We are wired to seek out others, to find our place. It's a very old, very basic need. Think about it this way. Imagine you've worked super hard on a project for class, pouring your energy into every detail. When you turn it in, you might shrug and say, "Oh, it's just something I threw together." But your heart is secretly hoping the teacher notices your effort, or that your friends say it looks cool. That quiet hope, that wish for someone else to recognize your work, is completely natural. It's like a plant needing sunlight to grow strong. Even if it tries to look tough in the shade, it thrives best with light. We, too, need that emotional sunlight of connection and appreciation. It's easy to believe that. True strength means never needing anyone's praise. But maybe, just maybe, the real strength is in understanding that this deep need to be valued isn't a flaw. It's just part of being human. It's about being honest with that quiet part of yourself that hopes for a kind word, a smile, a sign that you matter. It's okay to want to be seen. That desire isn't a weakness. It's a deep, human whisper for connection. The "I never get bored" myth. Have you ever heard someone say they never get bored? Maybe you've even said it yourself. The idea that every single moment has to be filled, every second bursting with something to do or see or achieve. Here's the thing. True boredom isn't just about having nothing to do. It's often about what happens when our minds don't have something new to latch onto. It's that quiet space, that moment when the usual distractions fade and our minds are left with nothing external to grab. For a long, long time, people actually valued these quiet moments. Think about ancient thinkers, way back when phones weren't even a dream. They'd sit, just sit and think. They believed that thinking deeply, really letting your mind wander without a map, was super important. It was how big ideas were born, how people understood themselves and the world around them. But now, we tend to run from that stillness, feeling like it's a wasted moment. Imagine your phone, right? You scroll and scroll. When one app isn't interesting, you jump to another. You switch songs, check messages, watch a short video. It feels like you're doing something, like you're productive or entertained. But are you really avoiding boredom, or just pushing it further away? Sometimes, the feeling we call not bored is just a constant search for the next quick hit of stimulation, a way to keep our brains from settling down and really processing things. And here's what I found. True creativity, real understanding, often blooms in those quiet, uncomfortable spaces, when you let your mind wander, when you allow yourself to just be without a task. That's when surprising thoughts can surface. It's when you discover what truly matters to you, what sparks your own unique curiosity. So, maybe it's okay to be a little bit bored sometimes. Maybe it's not a weakness, but a quiet strength, a gentle invitation to explore the rich, complex world inside your own head. It's a chance to truly meet yourself. Thinking you're super insightful. Have you ever felt like you just knew something, deep down, that others seemed to miss? Like you could see the real reasons behind someone's actions, or understand a situation better than anyone else? It's a powerful, comforting feeling, isn't it? This deep certainty that you're seeing the truth, clear as day. Here's the thing, sometimes our minds play a trick. We really believe we have special vision for understanding people and problems. We think our thoughts are brilliant, our insights sharp and true. But often, what feels like incredible insight is just a guess, or only a small piece of the story. Long ago, thinkers like the ancient Greeks wondered about this. They talked a lot about knowing yourself. They knew how hard it is to truly see your own mind clearly. They understood it was easy to fool yourself into thinking you knew more than you did. This gap between what we think we know and what we actually know is an old puzzle. Imagine watching a mystery show. Halfway through, you figure it out. You predict who did it, why, and how. You feel super smart, maybe even proud of your detective skills. You are so sure. But then, the real ending comes, and you were totally, completely wrong. Yet, in that moment, you were so convinced of your own brilliant insight. It felt so real. It's not about being dumb, it's about being human. We all want to understand, to be smart, to see things clearly. But sometimes, the deepest insight comes from realizing how much we don't know. It means the wisest thing is often just to listen more, ask more questions, and admit we don't have all the answers. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. This humility, this openness, frees us up to learn so much more. Believing you're always good at explaining things. Have you ever tried to explain something you know really, really well? Maybe it's a game rule, or how to solve a tough math problem, or even a story that happened to you. In your head, it all makes perfect sense, right? Every step, every detail is crystal clear. You feel like you're laying it out perfectly, like a blueprint everyone can follow. But then you see their face, a little furrowed brow, a slight tilt of the head. Maybe they nod, but their eyes tell a different story, a story of being a bit lost. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? Because in your mind, you were explaining it brilliantly. You believed you were so good at it. Yet, the message didn't quite land. This happens to all of us. Long ago, people started to notice this puzzle of communication. Think about the ancient Greek philosopher, Socrates. He spent his life asking questions, not just giving answers. He wanted people to think for themselves, to realize that what seemed obvious to one person might be totally confusing to another. He knew that our own minds hold so much, and sometimes we forget others don't live inside our heads, seeing exactly what we see. It's a bit like trying to describe a vibrant sunset to someone who has only ever seen black and white. You can use all the words you know: fiery orange, soft pink, deep purple. You can try to paint the picture with language, but if they've never experienced color, how can they truly grasp the feeling, the light, the specific hues you're trying to share? They might hear the words, but the understanding, the feeling of it, might still be out of reach. So here's the thing. This isn't about being bad at explaining. It's about a quiet, powerful realization. True understanding is a two-way street. It means stepping back and asking, does that make sense? It means watching their eyes, listening to their questions, and being willing to try a different way. It's about being patient and connecting with someone else's mind, not just delivering information. And when you manage that, when you truly bridge that gap, it feels like a small, precious victory. It's empathy in action, and that's a beautiful way to connect with the world. The eye always see the big picture view. Have you ever really stopped to think about what seeing the big picture truly means? We say it a lot, don't we? Oh, I get it. I see the big picture. But here's the thing. Sometimes, we think we're seeing everything, the whole landscape, when really, we're only looking at a detailed map. We might feel like we grasp it all, but do we truly? Imagine looking at a painting. You might love the overall feeling, the colors, the general idea. That's a big picture view. But if you never step closer, you miss the tiny, careful brushstroke. And if you only stare at one tiny part, you lose the sense of the whole. Truly seeing means connecting the details to the bigger scene. Long ago, thinkers like the Greek philosophers knew our view is just one view. They understood what we call the whole truth is often just our truth. It's shaped by what we know and where we stand. They taught us to question, to look from different angles. Our personal lens can sometimes make us miss important parts of the story. Think about a big group project for school. You might have an amazing idea for the final presentation, the big picture of success. But then, you might forget the small steps. Who gathers the research? Who makes the slides? If you only focus on the grand finale, those small, necessary pieces can fall apart. Your big picture then doesn't look so clear. It's easy to believe we understand everything, but sometimes, truly seeing the big picture means admitting we don't. It means being open to new information and other people's ideas. The world is much bigger and more complex than any one person can fully grasp, and that's okay. It just leaves room for more wonder and more to learn. When you say you're never envious, have you ever said, I don't get jealous, or I'm genuinely happy for everyone, all the time? It sounds really good, right? Like you've reached some super calm, peaceful place inside. But here's the thing about envy. It's a sneaky feeling. It's not always obvious. Not like anger or sadness that just hits you in the face. Envy often whispers. What is it? Exactly. It's not just wanting what someone else has. It's a quiet pain that you feel because someone else has something you wish you had, or something you think you deserve. The ancient Greek thinkers, people like Aristotle, noticed this thousands of years ago. They said envy was a kind of pain at another's good fortune. It's an old human feeling, woven into our stories and our very nature. It's not about admiring someone. It's feeling a little bit diminished by their shine. Imagine your best friend just got a brand new, amazing gaming system. You've been saving up for months, but you're still far from getting one. When they tell you, you smile and say, that's awesome, and part of you truly means it. But then, a small, tiny knot forms in your stomach. You might find yourself thinking, why them and not me? Or even, I hope it breaks. That little twist, that quiet wish for their good thing to be less good, that's often envy. It's not wanting your own gaming system. It's wishing theirs wasn't so great. So, when you say you're never envious, maybe it's worth checking that quiet corner of your heart. It's okay to feel it. It's a sign that there's something you deeply want or value. Recognizing it isn't a weakness. It's a chance to understand yourself better. It helps you see what truly matters to you. Then you can work towards your own goals instead of just wishing someone else didn't have theirs. Thinking you're super adaptable. Have you ever felt like you could handle anything? Like no matter what changed, you'd just adjust. It's a nice feeling, thinking you're ready for life's shifts. But sometimes, we think we're super adaptable, when deep down, our actions tell a different story. We believe we're flexible, able to bend with the wind. Then a new schedule hits, a different teacher, or a friend moves away, and suddenly, that easygoing feeling vanishes. We get stressed, maybe upset, even when we told ourselves we'd be fine. It's like we tell ourselves one thing, but our heart feels another. For a long time, people have talked about how we react to change. Ancient thinkers noticed that humans often prefer things to stay the same, even when change is good. It's comforting, knowing what to expect. Think of it like a well-worn path. It's easy to walk, even if a better path just opened. Our brains naturally like routines and things they know. Change asks us to leave that comfort, even for a moment. Imagine your favorite video game. You're great at it, you know all the levels, all the tricks. Then, a new update drops. Suddenly, the controls are different, enemies move in new ways, and your old strategies don't quite work. You might say, "No problem, I'll figure it out." But inside, you're annoyed. You miss the old game. True adaptability isn't just saying you're okay with change. It's genuinely learning and embracing the new, even when it feels clunky at first. It's about trying new ways to play, not just wishing for the old version. So, maybe it's less about being super adaptable all the time, and more about being honest with ourselves. It's okay to feel a wobble when things shift. The real strength isn't pretending change doesn't bother us. It's noticing that feeling, understanding it, and then taking a deep breath to truly try to find our footing in the new. That quiet, brave moment, when you choose to lean into the unfamiliar instead of fighting it, that's where true growth begins. Pretending you're always patient with technology. Have you ever found yourself staring at a loading screen, feeling that tiny, hot spark of frustration building inside you? Your phone won't connect, or that video just keeps buffering, and you can feel your jaw tighten. But then, if someone walks into the room, you might just shrug, maybe even hum a little tune, acting like it's no big deal. Here's the thing, we often tell ourselves we're patient people. We believe we handle delays with grace, especially when it comes to technology. But do we really? It's easy to put on a show of calm. We press buttons just a little harder, maybe sigh a bit louder when no one's listening. This gap between how we act and how we truly feel is something people have thought about for thousands of years. Ancient thinkers, like the Stoics, talked about how we react to things we can't control. They believed true strength came from controlling our inner world, not just what we show on the outside. But even they might have found a slow Wi-Fi signal a tough test. Think about it like this. You're trying to send an important message to a friend, or maybe upload a picture to your class project. The bar just crawls across the screen. You tap it, nothing. You wait, still nothing. Inside, you're practically yelling at the device, begging it to work. But if your parent asks, "Everything okay with your homework?" you calmly say, "Oh, just a slow connection, no big deal." We want to be the person who is always cool, always in control, even when a tiny machine decides to challenge us. So, here's a thought. Maybe it's not about being perfectly patient all the time. It's about noticing that feeling, that gap between who we are and who we pretend to be. It's okay to feel a little annoyed when tech misbehaves. The real honesty comes when we admit that feeling to ourselves, instead of just pretending we're calm. That self-awareness, that quiet understanding of our true reactions, can be a gentle step towards real peace, even with a buffering screen. The "I'm always myself" belief. Have you ever thought about what being yourself truly means? We often feel like there's one core, unchangeable person inside us, like a main character, always the same, no matter the scene. We say, "I'm just being myself," especially when explaining our actions. That feels good, right? Honest even. But here's the thing. Is that always true? Are you the exact same you talking to your best friend, compared to your English teacher, or your grandparents, or when trying out for a team? We change our words, tone, even how we stand. We adapt without realizing it. It's like having many different versions of ourselves, like apps on a phone, ready for specific situations. People have wondered about this for thousands of years. Ancient thinkers asked if one true self existed deep inside, or if we were more like a river, constantly flowing. They questioned, if you keep changing, are you still the same person? No easy answer exists. Think about a chameleon. It changes its skin color to match its surroundings. It's still the same chameleon, but its appearance shifts. We do something similar. We might be quiet in class, but loud and silly at a sleepover. We're still us, but we show different sides of who we are. This doesn't mean you're fake. It means you're adaptable, like an actor playing roles, yet still the same person underneath. So maybe the self isn't one solid, unmoving thing. Maybe it's a collection of possibilities, a spectrum of who you can be. That's not bad. It's actually amazing. It means you can learn, grow, and show up in ways that fit the moment. Being yourself isn't about being one thing, it's about being the authentic you in all your forms. Being true to the changing, growing person you are, right now, and always.